This is Technobabble, episode 58, the not sponsored by Tim Hortons episode. Welcome back to another Technobabble podcast, and as usual, I'm Jeff, and I'm joined by Dan.
Hi, I'm Dan, and I am a podcast.
Yes, you are a podcast.
On a podcast.
That's a little more
Participating in a podcast.
Yes.
Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to another Technobabble podcast.
Sorry, I always get the brand name.
Well, that's all right. It's not important. It's not.
That's just what we call it, because we babble about
right.
tech.
We do babble. We're good at that. But if we weren't good at that, I guess it wouldn't be a good podcast either. Because if you can't talk, then...
Yeah. What's the point, right?
You know, somebody that's mute probably wouldn't be a good option for a podcast.
No.
Not that I'm saying anything bad about people that can't talk.
Unless they could like a typing podcast.
That'd be ASMR. That's the ASMR cast.
Oh,
that
you got a mechanical keyboard? Yeah, that might work.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I have a mechanical keyboard. I have several mechanical keyboards.
Why do we call this the Technobabble podcast? If I know it's a reference to Star Trek, but at the same time, we're not babbling about techno. We're babbling about tech. So where's the no come from? You know what I'm saying?
The techno, maybe that's our intro music is as close to techno as we can get.
Is it techno?
Not really.
I'm not a music expert. I just listen to background stuff.
I don't know. Maybe I should play Bee Gees at the beginning and get content striked by everyone.
Staying alive.
Staying alive. Okay, let's stop that.
Yeah, you don't go too far. We're going to get slapped by...
Bring it back down to earth by drinking our not sponsored by Tim Hortons.
Yes, coffee.
Beverages.
Coffee, because it's good for you. Actually, it's not really.
It's not good for you, but it's good for the soul.
I'm supposed to be drinking decaf, but it's not decaf. It's fully loaded, so don't tell anyone.
I didn't do the coffee thing. I did tea.
Tea. Yep.
Tea.
Smart.
Steep tea.
Yep.
I don't drink Tim Hortons ever. I think last time we had Tim Hortons not too long ago, it was with you.
Yes, and that was a terrible idea because we got some of those Timbit donut things.
Yep.
Donut holes.
Those are good, but not good for you.
No. It's
not,
like you're eating it and you can feel
you can
it
feel
kill
the fat.
you on the inside.
You can feel the fat just come out. So
but like you keep eating it because why wouldn't you?
Because they're good. You bought them.
Tim Hortons.
What are you going to do with them? You got to eat them.
That's a good thing we're not sponsored by Tim Hortons. Because Tim Hortons. It tastes like death.
If we didn't eat them, someone else might not have.
That's true. Wait. What?
Think about it.
Or they might have and died.
Well, we prevented someone from dying, and we also made sure Tim Hortons made some money. So we're looking out for you, Tim Hortons.
At this point, we've gone from not being sponsored to Tim Hortons to potentially receiving a libel lawsuit from Tim Hortons. It's all a joke.
It's a good thing this is an entertainment podcast.
It is. We can get away with a parody clause.
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Yes, we can. And on to entertainment technology news.
All right.
Yeah. As usual, we start with AMD.
I know. I'm surprised.
Right? I could have started with Intel, but they've only got one story, and I don't care.
Jeff, the unbiased chip commentator.
AMD has at least double that in stories today. Yeah.
All right. What do we got in entertainment?
Firstly, the Ryzen.
We don't always cover.
Yes, the Ryzen. Wait,
you're doing AMD.
Yeah.
You said we were going to start with entertainment.
No, entertainment technology news.
Yeah, but we have a section for that.
I don't have a section in our
agenda.
notes.
I didn't say
I don't have entertainment in there at all. You look.
Oh, you called it other.
Yeah.
It's entertainment.
But it's not because there's only one entertainment news on that. That's why it's other news.
Fanboy. Continue with AMD.
Trying to ruin this whole podcast.
I am.
Jeez.
Sabotage.
Ryzen 9 3950X. It's finally here.
It has arrived.
And apparently it kicks Intel's ass almost.
Almost.
And
that is the most AMD statement I've ever that just comes out every time. They're like, hey, this kicks Intel's ass.
So
kind of.
The benefit,
for the most part.
The benefit is it's far cheaper than the Intel product at a lower TDP and more cores.
Competing against their current
whatever
lineup?
12 core blah 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 blah
12 core whatever. Gotcha.
Thing. Apparently, it's within FPSs of. There are certain cases where it's ahead, but most cases it's just either like right on or slightly below
Like
it for
FP
gaming.
What? Okay. Why are we gaming on this thing?
Because you have to have the best, Dan.
No, but that's unnecessary.
No, it's not.
It is.
Especially if you're a streamer.
Okay, if you're a streamer, sure.
Lots of people
But
stream.
most streamers stream from a different PC.
And also,
correct?
no. Most people
Many do?
use one system.
Okay, I thought that most people did too, because that way if your game crashes,
They
it doesn't crash your stream.
do that. They do that. I think rich streamers do that.
Like the big ones?
The big ones.
Okay.
The ones that have all moved to Microsoft streaming platform.
Gotcha.
Which apparently another one has, another big one.
How
I don't
many?
remember.
Mixer?
Yeah, that one.
They're poaching some, making it relevant. It's cool.
It's super relevant because I never use it.
Well, I haven't tried
I don't
it
really
yet
use
either, but-
Twitch either, to be honest.
Well, none of the people when I watch Twitch, which is not all the time, but I usually watch a select few people, and they're all still there, so I have no reason to move. But that's great for
I like
big
the name
names.
Mixer. Mixer is a good name.
Mixer is a cool name.
But it also makes you think, what are you mixing? Like they're making
Making drinks,
making drinks or
alcohol.
Yeah.
But okay, so outside, if you're not a streamer, which is most gamers, I would assume, don't stream.
Well, you could be a gamer that also does a lot of content creation.
That's true.
Well, as I recently realized, I would love a 16-core 32-thread CPU because rendering video takes a lot of time.
So you're gonna buy one?
I'm considering it, actually.
How much are they?
For
Let's
my
start with
flagship?
what's
I
their
think
price?
they're expensive.
Well, I would imagine they are.
I'm expecting it'll be
They're-
like over $1,000 here.
They're beastly.
I thought for some reason I'm thinking I read 750 somewhere, but this page doesn't actually test. Doesn't actually
750
say.
American, possibly.
Maybe I could look on a website. That
Look on the
actually has
web.
it in stock.
But anyway,
And I'm looking at Newegg right now to see if they have one. And
probably not yet.
it's out now though. So
Well, Newegg Canada will be behind because usually it is.
why did I? Okay, I just searched on Newegg and it opened a Bing search.
Get out of here, Bing.
Okay, there. I think I typed it in the address bar. That's my problem.
Oh, Pepcac.
Wait, it's the 3950X, right?
Yes.
Well, they don't even have it on their website, so that's
See, I
a
knew it.
good start.
I knew it.
It's a really good start.
Point is, it's going to be expensive. What's our specs looking like?
Fantastic question. Also, I wasn't
up.
prepared for anything for this podcast. So.
Yeah, the article here. Even.
No, there's no specs on it.
What?
There's no.
Well,
They
you
just
picked a
talk
bad
about it
article.
being released.
Thanks.
So this was a terrible choice for.
yeah.
Why did PC Per do that?
Thanks,
They usually-
PC Per.
They're usually right on top of this stuff. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. So now this is like top of the line. Ryzen 9 3950X is like top of the line for the AM4, right? That's not the Threadripper, because Threadrippers are the
Yeah, Threadripper is a new socket this time.
New
again.
socket.
It's a new version of the TR4. This is still AM4.
This is still AM4. Okay, so this is like as big as you're gonna get AM4 style. Like
For now, yeah.
king of the pile for
now,
this
yeah.
gen probably.
Yeah.
Because I think the Threadrippers are like the 3960. So
Yeah, it's a 3960 and 3970X,
55 or
which we're going to talk about in a
the
minute.
3957.2.
All right, so the base clock is 3.5 gigahertz, and their boost clock is 4.7.
Ooh.
Pretty good boost clock.
And how many cores? 1632?
1632. All reviews say it's easy to keep it.
Nice
Like
and
you can, if you got a decent cooler, it's easy to keep the frequencies above base, but you won't necessarily keep 4.7.
Mm-hmm.
In some cases, I believe Linus Tech Tips, they said if you're just running a regular cooler, it'll stay at base clock pretty much if you're doing heavy rendering, but don't expect to get boost clock all the time.
If you're really pushing it.
Yeah. But even with that, it's still keeping up with Intel's stuff at a much lower frequency.
So that
So-
suggests
By the time they reach, say, Generation 7, maybe we'll be at a point where we're kicking Intel's clocks. The only problem is that Intel's got new stuff coming.
I know.
Like
And it's
real
supposed to
new
have,
stuff,
like, a
not
good-
just fake new stuff.
yeah, not
So,
just a refresh of the
Yeah,
refresh of the refresh.
of a plus refresh, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's got 64 megabytes of cache, L3. So that's quite a bit. I think that's double So
Yeah, if you're looking for a good video rendering / also gaming / possibly streaming CPU, awesome.
mm-hmm.
Although you could probably get away with a lot of that with just 3700X.
But it's
those
not,
are pretty
it's
awesome,
not
too.
a 3950X.
It's not as good,
It's not,
but
as
it's still
good.
pretty darn good.
Yeah, but it's not 1632. So
It's half that,
it's less, very much less. So
but it's still pretty darn good.
we'll see.
'Cause,
I
I mean,
wouldn't
once you-
I wouldn't mind having more cores because Vegas is what I use to render with because I got it for like cheap from Humble Bundle. It's, I mean, with all 16 threads going, I think it's just over real time processing amount of time, which is cool. That's
pretty
not bad. I mean, it's hard. It's probably stupid to complain about something like that, but and I'm not doing anything crazy either. I'm literally just converting it to something that YouTube can use.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really doing a lot of work. So yeah, and it doesn't use the video. Like Vegas doesn't use GPU rendering. So
It's all okay. So it's all
Yeah.
CPU.
so
Well, another solid line or addition to the 3rd gen Ryzen lineup.
yes, we'll see what the prices are when I get to actually building next year. But yeah, AMD also announced the 3960X and 3970X Threadripper CPUs.
So I honestly
So-
thought Threadripper was going to die.
I
thought they were just
did
gonna go like Epic and Ryzen, It's back.
Yeah, only 2 different ones this time. It looks like, but and even with the 3264 thread version of it, they're still only asking $2,000 for it. And I know I say only, but that's cheaper than
Relatively
anything
cheap.
Intel offers.
It's not cheap, but it's
No.
relatively cheap.
280 watt CPU.
Monster.
Like your 3264 is 3.7 gigahertz or 4.5 boost. And the 24 and 48 is 3.8 gigahertz and 4.5 boost. So if you don't really need those extra threads, you can get a 100 megahertz advantage with the 3960X. So it's also a lot cheaper though. It's
I would imagine,
$13.99. So
which is still a lot of
Mhm.
money.
so hey, look, I found a price for the 3950X.
Awesome.
$749. It was what I thought.
Yeah, you're right. So $750 Merkin.
Yep. So it's probably
So, like,
it'll be $1,000 here.
$1,000 here. So
Yep.
you were right in both counts, probably.
Yeah. 105 watt TDP on that. So it's also got double the cache that the 3700X has.
Cool.
Though the 3700X is 65 watt
And like half the price.
and half the cores.
And
But-
half the course.
yeah.
So it makes sense. It lines up.
So it's got less boost though.
Hmm.
It's only got a 4.4 boost as opposed to a 4.7.
Hmm.
So, but
Cool.
yeah, so AMD's still rocking it.
3rd gen still hanging out here. I'm still waiting. I'm impressed with AMD's 3rd generation lineup. I'm still kind of hoping that, because there's an exception there for the APU lineup. It's kind of disappointing. So I was kind of hoping they'd.
They're not trying to sell that to us though.
I know, but it's something that I always keep an eye on because I think it's a cool segment of the market.
It's cool,
And
but you're
kind
never
of-
going to see one with a full-on GPU on it. You're never going to see that.
No.
There's no room there.
Well, no, but like they're still using like last gen's tech. So I was
Well-
kind of hoping to see like one that's 3rd gen.
Navi stuff is coming. It's just not
Yeah,
here
like
yet.
Navi / Zen 2
Yeah.
instead of Zen Plus /
Yeah.
Vega. But maybe that's their next their plan now is to just keep it a generation behind. Like 4th generation APUs will be. Zen
I think
2.
they're just not really worried about it because that's a segment that really just
I mean, it's a niche segment. Or
that
whatever.
sells to budget computers and to business,
Yeah.
right? So I don't think they're really too worried about that per se.
Oh, and I understand that. It's something I always am interested in seeing how it goes because it seems like a kind of cool little.
I mean, they did try to sell sort of to gamers with that ability with the old Kaveri type CPUs and stuff to be able to do the dual graphics.
the Crossfire with your
Crossfire with the CPU and R7250, I think it was.
Mhm.
So, but that never
I know
really
it
took off.
had a niche following when they had the old trick where you could use the APU as the render and then use an NVIDIA GPU as the render and then the AMD was the output. The AMD chip was the output. So you could run FreeSync off of it, but you don't need to do that anymore because you just buy an NVIdia card. Run FreeSync.
That's some hacking going.
That's some hack. It was it was a fun thing for a while. That was kind of like a trick, and NVIDIA was like, actually, you can just run FreeSync.
Just do it anyway. Yeah. Also, I went through the settings, and I understand. I think I know why those settings no longer don't show up in my NVIDIA control panel.
Oh,
because I don't have a FreeSync monitor.
That's what I said.
Stupid.
I was like, I think it only shows up. If
I ignore you. You're just here for extra sound.
That's yeah,
that's right.
Slink
out.
Yeah. Ouch.
No,
harsh.
Not at all.
But if you get a FreeSync panel, even if it's not technically compatible in the compatible list, it should work. It might not work amazingly because it's not technically compatible, but I think their G-Sync compatible is really just it has to have certain specs on the monitor. Like a certain range and a certain refresh rate.
Compatible sticker. Whatever.
Well, not all of them have the sticker.
Sorry, whatever the thing is, I don't know.
It's G-Sync compatible. I think that's correct. But
anyway,
it's just we accept this to be a FreeSync monitor we can use because we have high standards. That's what they're trying to say. They're trying to be all hoity-toity.
Because this monitor cost $1,000, we'll let you do it.
Actually, some of them are pretty cheap.
Some of them, but cheap relatively.
Buying a G-Sync monitor is still very expensive. So G-Sync compatible, man. That's the way to go. I'm telling you.
So FreeSync monitor.
Exactly.
Yep. I'm never going to have one.
Why not?
Because my next monitor is going to be a free 32-inch TV that I'm going to mount on my desk.
Well.
Yeah.
Can it get the Samsung firmware update so it can run FreeSync?
That TV, it's
a little
it's like 8 years old.
Yeah.
Great TV, but no. Their modern TVs probably most of them aren't going to get it.
Well, sell off your Zowies.
They're worth zero, by the way.
Sell them to me.
They sell for about $130 now when they're on sale.
Oh yeah,
and nobody buys them any other time, but that's when you buy them.
I mean, they're solid, cheap monitors.
They're good monitors. Yeah, but
I think you're seeing less interest in. It's just because of the size. I'm guessing. 24 inches.
The size is a little small. It's
but.
Yeah, I really wish I had a dual monitor set up for my one system.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I got to put that TV up here somewhere.
I think just 27 inches or bigger has become so cheap now that people are just going that way instead of
cheap. If you get crappy specs, most of them are very good at the cheap level, but at the level that I'm willing to spend,
you can get a decent 27 inch for a good price.
What I should get is an ultra wide 32. Here's what I should get.
Oh man, ultra wide. Ultra wide has its pros and cons. We've discussed it before because I've been running one for a while, but it's really good when it works, and it's working a lot better than it used to even a few years ago. So.
Well, it'd probably work nicely with some of my racing games. So that'd be kind of cool to have a nice wide picture with some of the racing stuff. You don't race stuff, so it's still different. But like I know Forza is very multi-monitor friendly and stuff, so I'm assuming it's also very widescreen.
Could be. I've never tried it. Although I could try it because I have Xbox Game Pass active right now.
Oh, there you go.
I can just download it. And
you should try it. See what it looks like.
Speaking of Xbox Game Pass. I know you're not into the subscription. Games as a subscription.
It's really cheap right now.
Yeah, it's $1. So I'm just saying, anyone it has nothing against it. You can get 3 months now of the ultimate version for $1. Play a bunch of games on either your console or your PC because you get both. And you get gold with it because it's the ultimate version. And you get like 3 months of Discord Nitro and 6 months of Spotify Premium. So not to like insert a Microsoft commercial
do you have to be a new member of Spotify to get the 6 months?
It's your don't know. That I don't know. I don't have Spotify in any form, so
that would be enough for me to do it. Because I would just ignore the rest of it and just do this.
Just get that just for the Spotify Premium or whatever for 6 months.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty sweet deal, right?
That is a really good deal, yeah.
Anyway. I watched some of XO19, so I was just throwing that in there. But
oh yeah, there was a story about this in here. I'm like, nah, I don't like Xbox. Go away.
We can chat about it a bit in the gaming section.
Sure, we can do that. Let's talk about some Intel. We got one story from Intel.
Team Blue, they're still a thing.
Can you hand me my Nook over there?
Your Nook.
I need it in hand.
Okay, it's a little. That's heavier than I thought it was.
Oh yeah, it's a compact little massive piece of terrible performance is what this was.
Right.
Our old recording.
We used to record on it, which it worked okay.
Box. Yeah, I should hook it up and really update it. But anyway, I don't. I have two computers here, and I have a Mac Mini down there that works fine. I really don't need to plug. I also don't have any plugs.
So what you're saying is you have too much tech.
Can never have enough.
No, I think you have too much tech.
I have too much in one place is my problem. And yeah, that's
fair enough. Too much in the studio.
This should go on my shelf as a reminder of how badly performing Intel CPUs are. What? Anyway.
Ouch. Savage.
Intel has released pictures of their new Frost Canyon Nooks. Really all the news is they've released pictures of them. For a while, they were these silver and black lidded things that you'd get, and they're not ugly.
Mm-mm.
They're not attractive, but they're not ugly. Really easy to work on though. 4 screws on the bottom, and it just comes apart. So, Intel has a one up on Apple on that. Anyway,
Can it stream Stadia?
Who knows? Can anything stream Stadia? It seems to be pretty limited. So they've got pictures of them. Basically, they're all black now. So
yeah, they got rid of the silver.
And I'm not sure if they're doing the mechanical hard drive thing. Oh yes, yep. Never mind. There's 2 pictures of it. So it's basically the exact same form factor.
And they do have a mechanical hard drive.
Well, they got a version that you can put one in that's thick like this.
Okay.
Otherwise, you can get the thin one that's more lower profile where you can put a M.2 in it.
Yeah.
So
that's a perfect implementation for M.2. Nice and
sure
compact.
is that and laptops. Perfect implementations. Mm-hmm. Don't understand why people do that on main computers. Although I have one, I still haven't put it in my system yet.
You know what's nice about it? It's
no
faster,
wires.
A.
Well,
and 2, yeah, no wires.
But you could just pop it in there. Put it in a PCI slot.
You could, but I just put it on the board.
The disadvantage of doing that, at least on AMD boards, I'm not sure how it works on Intel ones, is it disables 2 of your SATA ports.
It does that on mine as well, but mine's
all right.
First gen Sky.
That is the problem with having only 20 PCIe lanes.
However, it's also the only storage device I use, so it's not really a big deal for me.
I'm too lazy to uninstall everything, although I've uninstalled a lot. My 1 terabyte extra drive is getting a little restrictive now. Anyway, December 12th, that's when we're supposed to be looking at them coming out. It looks like they have, i7 all the way down to, do they have Celeron versions of these again? I don't know. They're not talking about. I just see i7 to i3 on here, but
okay,
that's fine. I got the Celeron one, and I knew what I was getting into when I did that.
Yeah.
But it's so cheap. Less than $200 for one of these boxes.
I mean,
now, mind you, doesn't come with the hard drive thing, and it doesn't come with memory, and it takes very specific memory because Intel's always been dicks about that. I don't know if you remember us building those computers back at our old place there, but the memory that we got was specific for Intel motherboards.
Yeah. They were
like they wouldn't work with anything else because they use very, very specific.
I found very interesting about the more recent when people were criticizing Ryzen for needing specific memory speeds. I was like, well, Intel used to do that all the time.
They should look at.
To be fair, though, if you look at modern comparison, it was a disadvantage. Intel would pretty much work on anything, whereas Ryzen would works a lot better on specific.
Yeah, we were
things.
sort of oddballs. Our company was like an Intel partner with Intel motherboards.
Mm-hmm.
And they are very specific about what kits of memory would actually work with it. And it's true. Like, you can't just throw anything in them.
Yeah.
Because they won't just work. So
but modern Intel is pretty easy.
But you can't buy Intel motherboards anymore. But regular Intel CPUs are good with pretty much
anything.
Just
good with anything, yeah.
So, but yes, AMD still, to this day, still has some issues with that. Mm-hmm. Anyway, let's look at some new hardware. We had a preview of what these... looked like recently from Linus Tech Tips because he had a special deal with Noctua. Noctua has now released the new Chromax line of fans on their own.
Mm-hmm. Is it Chromax or Chroma X?
I don't know. They say Chromax here. Well, that's how it's written anyway.
Because I thought there's a period in there somewhere, but I don't know.
Not on here.
Okay. Well, I could be crazy.
So
they're Chromax / Chroma X fans, which is a big deal because now you can finally buy awesome, possibly way too expensive Noctua fans that aren't ugly as sin.
You could buy them before. It's just usually they were industrial versions that weren't. They run at higher RPMs and aren't as quiet.
Yes.
But still
good.
Fantastic quality. And you feel that when you take them out of their fancy boxes.
Yeah.
You could literally feel
They're
the quality.
premium fans.
Yeah. But they also have the different colored, I don't know, what are they, noise reducer rubber things.
Rubber standoffs.
Yeah, it comes with the different colors of that, I guess. So, cool, I guess.
Vibration dampeners, is that what they're called?
I don't know what they're called.
But anyway, you can get different colors. Although
they're called something.
I think everyone's just happy with just a plain black fan that's not brown and beige. And but
I would have been fine if they just released their normal fans in the gray and dark gray colors they already had.
Yeah, that would have been fine too.
But
apparently
I'm not sure what the whole deal is about.
They spent a long time trying to get the right mix for like the paint and stuff, so that
to get the same strength and stuff out of the fans, you have to get that right. But that's how you know they're pretty anal about fans.
Yeah.
So that's what you're paying for when you buy an Noctua.
Yeah. So they started out with just the Linus Tech Tips edition, as you mentioned.
Yes. Yep.
But now I believe you can buy just the plain black ones.
They all come with the colored things, though.
They do.
The corners. So if that means something to you, then there you go.
Well, you don't have to buy
mine came with black or brown ones or something for that. I never even put them on. So, and yeah. I don't find they make a whole lot of difference. Their fans are already really well balanced.
Yeah. You don't get a lot of vibration anyway.
There's not a whole lot there. Maybe for those hardcore silent PC builders, maybe. But, yeah, anyway. Also, I saw this, and I think this is a good implementation of making a copper cooler. I don't know if you saw the pictures of that in the thing. Did you see them?
I didn't think.
You should take a look at them. I'm curious about what you think. It's a Thermalright AXP90 full copper CPU.
Oh, yes,
cooler.
I did see this one. Sorry.
I quite like this. Like you did not like the CryoRig one. I kind of liked it just because it looked really janky. But I like CryoRig as well. But I think this is a good way to make it look right. A red and orange fan on it and stuff. So.
No, I don't like it.
I quite like that.
I think to me the red throws it off.
Really?
The red and the like beigey orange underneath, like the cooler.
I don't know. The cooler.
The dark orange.
I think it's very well thought out as opposed to the CryoRig run.
It's better than the CryoRig one. CryoRig. But to me, it looks like they tried to do like an orange Noctua fan.
You can say that for everyone, though. They all look like they're trying to do a Noctua fan.
With the with color scheme. Ugh.
But no,
anyway, shutters. I'm sure it works great, but
I like that. If I hadn't already bought a Noctua cooler for my PlayStation 2 build, which I promise eventually I will finish.
Show off on the website.
Yeah. I got tools to finish it now. I do have to figure out how to do the power button thing though. Still, I don't know anything about like actual wiring, like how to figure out that stuff, but I'll have to figure it out.
It'll be an adventure.
But I have all the tools. I bought a little like super cheap Dremel and stuff, like really cheap. It's really cheap. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, I like it. You don't. All right, on to the next thing.
That's my opinion. It's orange and gross.
It's my opinion, not yours. Never mind. All right, okay. What are we talking about? We're talking about other hardware releases. I'm not looking at the right page. There we go. We've had some other stuff release. I'm only talking about this because I think it actually is sort of important, even though I don't really care for them. Typically, Apple's introduced a 16-inch MacBook Pro. Not a 15-inch, but a 16-inch. That's going to be a heavy thing, man, because they make them out of metal, like metal.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So it's not the lightest.
They say it's the world's best pro notebook. I think that's a little nuts to say, but supposedly they have fixed their keyboard, which apparently was junk for quite a while. And there's a new AMD video card in there. So it can actually do things as opposed to running Intel graphics the whole time.
Excellent.
So, that's about, I guess that's about it.
New MacBook.
Yeah. They should have went with AMD processors too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're going with their own processor in the near future, aren't they? So
That's what everyone says.
that's the rumor, anyway, or that's what they're working. That's what they said, anyway. We'll put it that way.
Well, not in those though.
No.
The assumption is they're going to eventually, but
Yeah.
they haven't said that there. Okay, this I'm looking forward to. I know it's something I'll never be able to afford though. Motorola. There's been rumors for years. Do you remember the Razr phone?
Yep.
Yeah, everybody had to have one, or you didn't have one, so you weren't cool. Which was me. I never had one.
I wasn't cool.
I had a later version of it for a company I worked for, but it wasn't a Razr. Anyway, they're releasing a new Razr phone. It's an Android phone, flip phone, and this I think is the perfect implementation of a folding display. No, I think the
phone.
Samsung one is a stupid idea because otherwise it's a really skinny display unless you open it up.
Right.
And the same with the Huawei one if it ever comes. But this one,
You can flip it.
this has an outer display on it just like the original phone had.
Yeah.
But since it folds in half lengthwise, it's very compact for your pocket.
You can easily flip
But
it
you
open.
can open it up, and it's actually got a bigger display than a typical chocolate bar styled.
Chocolate bar.
Yeah.
Yes, I see
phone.
that. That's a good way to do it.
I very much quite like it, and it looks like the hinge thing works really well.
Who would have guessed? Based it on the flip phones.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only problem, of course, is
What?
the price.
Oh yeah. No. Here we go.
always the
$1,500. There it is.
$1,500.
U.S. and Europe launch $1,500.
Yep. That's a lot.
So
cool.
I mean, the Razr wasn't cheap either. But do you remember when phones like expensive phones were like $300?
Yeah.
Yeah, $1,500.
$1,500.
So I won't have one.
$300.
I mean,
for a phone
I
is not
bought
a
it
cheap
$300.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, me too.
I also,
Yeah.
but see, the thing is, nobody's ever going to see that cost because everybody finances that stuff out, which I think is nuts.
But
Why are people
can afford-
financing phones?
because
It's crazy.
they're, I don't know. People are financing all kinds
Crazy.
of things now.
Go on Amazon and buy an unlocked phone. You don't
They want
need
the
those
cool
other ones.
I'm with you though. I'm with you. But I know a lot of people like they're in the
Unlocked
big
phones are
iPhones.
new too. Like they're not used phones. Buy a new phone. I buy new phones. That's what I do.
Yeah,
But I'm not-
$200 is about my price range for a phone. I mean,
I'll pay up to $300,
up to $300.
Yeah.
I haven't actually bought one in a long time.
and that's Canadian
because
pesos, of course.
I'm provided one through my work, so I don't really need my own phone right now.
My work provides a phone if I want one, but it's a
Like a flip
you
phone.
can't even text.
not
on
the
it.
good
Yeah,
kind of flip phone?
It's just
It's
it's
specifically for emergency
you
calls.
can't even text. Well, it's used to call them.
Yeah.
Like, no, you can keep that. I'll just use my phone.
Yeah.
If I'm not getting any advantage out of it, just that's
But
just
yeah,
an extra
that's
thing
my
to carry.
that's my price range. But some of these, I mean, it's cool. It's the kind of thing that I look at and I go, that's a really cool tech, and I would like to have something similar once it hits. And I'm hoping it hits mass market so that someone develops
This
cheaper
design
versions of it.
specifically.
Yes,
This design specifically.
This design is the coolest.
This one, as I said, makes sense
It's the
to
coolest
me.
folding phone implementation I've seen personally. So I
Yeah.
would purchase one of those if it was a cheap version.
I would give it in a heartbeat.
If it ever happened.
If the screens prove to be that they live for a long time, I may buy one down the road, unlocked and used, to try it out at some point. But I'm never going to buy one for $1,500. Which, by the way, that would be $2,000 here,
So yeah,
guaranteed. So,
factor in exchange and a little bit of bull crap, and you get about two.
well, factor in exchange and the bell tax, right? Because they don't. They like to rip you off here.
Well, that's the other thing you're talking about. Some people financing phones. Some of those phones you have to finance, isn't that? Like when they're first released.
My thing is,
which is nuts.
Don't stand for that.
I know it's
don't
crap.
buy that junk. You don't. The thing is, everybody wants to have the latest and greatest phone or whatever with the Qualcomm 800 series CPUs and whatever in it. You don't need it.
Yeah.
I have this Nokia has a Qualcomm 635 in it. It's fantastic. And it runs games fine if that's one of your qualifications that you need to have something that runs games fine.
Well, it's got a
runs
good
games
Snapdragon in it. So.
Great.
Yeah.
It's a great CPU. And then there's I have the equivalent in my US phone. Here I am saying I got two phones, even though I said I don't want two phones. But anyway, I have two phones. I have one for the US, but it's got the MediaTek version of it. It's not. It's basically the same idea.
Mm-hmm.
It's just their version of the mid-range CPU, and it doesn't do the gaming quite as well, but it's still very passable.
Yeah.
So,
hey,
you don't need those big ones.
Yeah. See, for me, I don't need much, but I also don't put games again because it's a work phone. I don't put I don't put anything on it, so I don't know much. That's why usually when we do a gaming, you're the one that talks about mobile gaming because I don't do it. If I ever go on a trip and I want to take games with me, I just bring my Switch, but that doesn't happen very often for me. But anyway.
Yep. Anyway,
so yeah, I'm not your average customer. I think they do make it pretty enticing, like when you go into the store, like a physical store for the phone, and they say, "Well, here's your monthly charge for what you want. We'll add on $20 a month, and you get this nicer phone." I can see how that's appealing. Well, that was an arbitrary number I just picked, but like they add on a certain amount of money, and you can see where it might be like, "Oh, that's kind of a nice deal," and I get this nicer phone, even though. I think the problem is what they do is they show you the difference between this is the nice phone that costs more money and this is the phone that can come with your contract, and the one that comes with is not great. But meanwhile, you could just get the contract.
You don't see that though. No, I don't think that's how they sell them anymore.
Oh, that's how they. No, I mean, I've been
most
in one
people
in a long time,
don't see the price of the phone.
Oh,
what they do, they are told by the person selling you the plan and whatever. This phone comes free with the plan.
But the plan is more
expensive. But they're not telling you the breakdown of the plan. They're not telling you how much you're paying monthly just for the phone. They're telling you at the end, this is going to be your monthly
So they
bill.
kind of obfuscate all the individual costs.
Exactly.
So you're like, well, what if I just want a SIM card and I'm putting it in my own phone? And that's a whole other thing.
You should see how they look at you when you do that. Because I did that, and they're like, you just want a SIM card? Are you sure your phone will work with it? It's an unlocked phone. Just give me the SIM card.
Well, I can understand. I mean, okay, first of all, yes, there's probably they're disappointed because they wanted to sell you the big phone and get the money for it and whatnot. But I can also see, because I bet you they will get people that think they know what they're doing and don't, and they come back in with their unlocked phone and get support
I think
from them.
some, yes.
So I can see where they might be a
people
little
working at
frustrated.
these places barely understand how
I
it
understand that, but I can see where that would get frustrating for them, where some people think that they can
All
do
I can say is be a good consumer, do some research, learn about how this stuff works.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a tech know-it-all to figure this stuff out. There's all kinds of tools on the internet.
Unlocked phones are really easy. You go on Amazon, you look at the comments, they say, yes, it works with this, yes, it works with that.
Yeah, there's a website. There's a specific website out there. You can look up the model number, and you can look up the carrier you're with. Mm-hmm. If it says it works, it'll work. So it's not hard to do.
At the end of the day, though, do what you want and you can afford. We're just old men being angry. But
I'm just saying, you don't need that CPU. It's the same as I don't need a 3950X, which I probably won't get as much as I want to. You absolutely do not need,
but you want it. But you might spend money on it. I mean, that's the thing. If you have money that you can spend on something and you really want it, do it. That's fine. I'm not telling you to stop that. But if you are tight on budget but you need a phone, don't just assume that the phone they give you, quote unquote, with the plan is actually what you're actually getting a good deal out of it, because you're probably not. No. That's the thing. Mind you, we're talking to, if people listening to a Technobabble podcast are probably at least somewhat versed in tech. Maybe not in phones. I'm not.
That wasn't my original intention for this podcast, but yeah, I'm sure that's pretty much what it is. Yeah, especially when we always start talking about CPUs at the beginning.
Yeah.
But
we should switch it up. Talk about phones and stuff first.
Yeah,
then the tech crowd will leave.
Linus, actually, I refer to him lots because I look at him as being akin to me. I think we're very similar in what we think about certain things. But I had that idea. I so wish I could have done that. Anyway,
I think a lot of people look at Linus and be like, you know what? I had that idea, but nobody has.
I pitched that to the company we worked for, and he's like, I don't know.
And he got the approval, but at the same time, it takes a lot of guts to do what he did.
It does, but it wouldn't. The thing is, it wouldn't have cost the company any more money because they already get the stuff already
for the company.
Like I was proposing just to review stuff that we had already in stock, right? I wasn't talking about we should order this and this and this, but I wasn't saying we should order stuff we'll never sell. Mm-hmm. But anyway, whatever. That's all in the past. So, yes, I had a point also to say, and I don't remember what it is. So that's good.
You were saying something about Linus and his phones.
Oh, he says he hates reviewing them.
Yes.
Because he doesn't. That's that's not what he's interested in.
No.
He needs something that works and leave it at that.
But a lot of people are interested in phones.
Yeah, because there's my point. A lot of people, it is their main computing device.
Yep.
I get that. I think you're dumb, but I get it.
That's a little rude.
No, no. Here's the thing. Those are the same people that'll come to you and say something's not working, like they're trying to print something off, or they're trying to do something that an obvious task that would be made for working on a computer. Get a computer. You can buy a Nook for $300 that has what you need in it. Buy a computer. These can hook up to your TV.
Yeah.
You don't need anything crazy. And keyboards you can get those for $10. So it's just, don't come to me when your device won't do what you want it to do, because a computer will do it fine.
Now, if you can do that, some of that
as
stuff
much
with
as
your
I hate
phone,
Windows,
as long as you're using the right stuff. So I understand where they get, but it is frustrating as a tech person. People come to you for phone problems. For me, because I don't know jack about phones. I barely use my phone.
Yeah,
I have it because I need it for calls and texting and emails and that kind of stuff. But like as soon as you're trying to do anything else, like how can my phone work? I don't know. I'm a computer guy.
Turn it off and on.
So yeah, it's a
that doesn't work very well.
That is the whole thing where people assume that because you're into tech, you're into all tech, when really in reality I'm not.
Well, I find phones interesting, but they're not something that I need to have the latest and greatest of, which we've already established.
Yeah. So
or I shouldn't say latest and greatest. Latest, I do like having something that's relatively modern, but I don't need the greatest.
Yeah, because usually the greatest is a very much into the diminishing returns.
When you're on a phone, it is.
Yeah.
You're looking at a small screen. You're not. I don't see what.
I mean,
again, the 800 series Qualcomm processor just seems
usually,
so crazy to me.
Usually, yeah, the high-end Qualcomm stuff is not that much better than the mid-range Qualcomm stuff.
Well, the mid-range ones are usually the same cores, just less of them.
And so the mid-range is great.
Or lower powered.
A lot of the time, what I've noticed, and maybe this is where the disconnect is, that a lot of the expensive phones, the main advantage is much better cameras. And I'm not a picture guy. I barely take pictures ever. So that has no impact on my decision at all. But I can see where some people, that's their only picture device. They want something really good and they do a lot of pictures. I understand why you might want a higher end phone with better cameras and all that stuff.
So
I get it.
There are plenty of mid-range phones that have cameras as good, if not better. I own a Nokia X71, which is basically the same as the Nokia 6.2, I think is what it's called here. Form factor's a little bit different, but basically it's like the exact same phone. They got the same cameras. They'd rival pretty much anything that anybody makes nowadays. The app may not be as exciting.
Maybe that's what it is.
But
I'm
not there for the app. I'm there to take the video or take the pictures. I don't.
But again, you're a little more into it than me, but you're still kind of in my ballpark of.
Well, yeah, no,
I don't care that much.
I'm the old curmudgeon. I get it.
So like something that looks somewhat similar to us might be like, that's great. Why would you buy the more expensive thing? But to someone who's more into that stuff, you might be able to be like, hey, look, no, this is actually a lot better because I can do more stuff with it, or it's slightly better quality, which is good enough for this and that. Like same idea as why you'd buy an i7 instead of an i5, or a Ryzen 7 instead of a Ryzen 5.
I would say I didn't buy an i7. I bought an i3.
Same. They're using the same tiers now, but whatever. You know.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Like same reason why you might buy a 3950X as opposed to a 3700X, even though they can do the same function, but the 3950 does it slightly better. You know what I'm saying? Like it's it's a similar.
No, I get the argument. I just think cell phone people are wrong.
Someone could come in, a cell phone person could come in and be like, "No, you're wrong. It's this," and I would understand. I'm just speculating.
That's right. We'll agree to disagree.
Because I don't know about phones.
Yeah. Anyway,
rant aside.
Phones. There we go. I don't know.
Are we done with phones?
Yeah, we're done with the phone now.
We promise we'll stop yelling about it.
Yeah. Google bought Fitbit.
Cool.
So.
Didn't they already have a device for that?
No, they didn't have their own device. They had other people making Android Wear devices.
Oh, okay.
Partnered with them.
So now they are Fitbit.
Fitbit was not an Android Wear device. Fitbit was their own thing, so it's sort of weird, but I think it's the only independent company they could buy that they could, do stuff with. But like they're not going to buy Motorola. They owned Motorola, but they got rid of it. so confused over that. But anyway, yeah, I guess. And then I chose this story because it's interesting. Some people are getting rid of their Fitbits supposedly because they don't trust Google. These people are probably the same people that have Android phones, so it's doing the exact same thing anyway. So,
yeah.
If they were, and I say that because if you're an Apple user, you've got an Apple Watch.
Mm-hmm. For Google has a track record of shutting down software projects. However, this is Android Wear is fairly well established from what I know. So
for the most part, it's getting more popular. Yeah,
I don't know that that's a fear. If they're just worried about the tracking thing, I get it. But again, if you have Android anything, you're
get over the tracking stuff because your Android phone's already doing it. And
I don't. It's not nice to say because we shouldn't be accepting getting tracked all the time. But we know it's happening.
I don't like it, and I think usually I do this about monthly. I'll go to my apps, and I'll check the permissions, and I will turn off what I don't think any of them need.
Yeah, no, that's assuming
dollars to donuts, you open that app again, and it doesn't ask you, and it functions just as it would normally.
Yep.
So,
but either that
hot
means
tip: if you want to be, don't want to be worried about that, shut that stuff off. But you should also turn off location services.
Yes, you should turn that off,
which is well hidden.
Unless you're using it. At the time, I only turn it on if I need to use the direction thing.
Google Maps.
The Google Maps directions. Yep. But again, that's assuming that Google's respecting the fact you turned it off, which I don't know that they are, but
well, if it says you turned it off, they're still going to be able to get locations from you by cell tower.
Yep.
So it won't be as accurate as having your GPS on, but it will still be able to track you that way. Mm-hmm. There's nothing you can do about that. There's zero you can do about that because that's how cell phone technology works.
It is. And data protection hasn't caught up with modern life either yet. Yep. So, but take the steps you can, I guess. But that's good.
This is interesting. I guess it's interesting, but I think we already have enough alternatives out there that if they're planning on making their own watch per se, it's probably going to be another one of those premium things that I won't buy anyway. So,
I'm still amazed at the watch market, the smartwatch market, but that's.
What's amazing about it?
I didn't like what's that?
What's amazing about it?
That people use them. It's not something I ever considered, but that's me.
I have a little. I love these like really cheap ones that you can get from China. The only thing with them is that you don't know, like they don't use Android Wear, so you got to download their own app, and that's concerning because they ask for a lot of permissions when you install it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to say no to a smartwatch that can do all the same stuff that those other ones can do for $20.
What's it doing?
So it can check your heart rate and all that stuff and your oxygen levels in your blood, and supposedly it does blood pressure. I don't know if I trust that or not but I mean,
it's a watch.
They all do it. So I don't know.
I guess here's the thing. Gotta keep in mind.
I would prefer an Android Wear watch over that because I don't know what information I'm sending to China. As much as I hate to say it, I would rather my information go to Google than go to China.
It will end up there anyways.
Probably, actually.
My point is like, okay, so I guess I can see like for Fitbits and stuff, it was more based on workouts and tracking your workouts and tracking your levels of.
They all do that
and all that stuff. I'm not. Look, I'm a fat nerd. I do exercise. Not as much as I should, but I do exercise. But I guess I'm not into that world of like tracking what I'm exercising.
I don't use it to track any of that. Yeah. I just use them like, oh, that's what it is right now. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
So to me, it just seems like, I mean, sure, it might be interesting to see what your heart rate is currently, but unless you're hardcore working out, but I guess more people do.
Well, I could see my heart rate, and I wouldn't know whether that's good or not per se. So my heart's beating. So as far as I know, that's good.
I have a stationary bike that I use, and it has a heart rate sensor built in and that kind of stuff. So I use that on occasion. Although I don't know, maybe I'm just not like I said, I'm not as big an exercise as many other people.
Well, there are a lot of people that is their life.
Yep.
So.
And
they make people like us. They make people like us aware that we're dumb, but that's okay.
So yeah,
Everybody's
it's just a
doing
market
thing.
I've never been at all interested in, but that's just my observation.
So.
All right.
Anyway, we'll see what comes of that. And some other news: Disney Plus launched. Initially, we were told that it wasn't coming to Canada the same day as the U.S., but apparently
Surprise!
it did.
It is.
Surprise, surprise. And they hit 10 million subscribers in one day.
Which is pretty impressive, but
That's
Disney.
like a game launch, right? That's like Call of Duty launching. 10 million subscribers. That's really impressive.
Yeah.
I didn't subscribe on the day, but I have subscribed.
Checked it out.
And I mean, even then, they gave you it's $7 a month US, which is I think it's $8 here, which is, as far as I'm concerned, a really good deal to get access to everything they have.
Yeah, I mean, it's cheaper than like Netflix and stuff. Although they probably don't have as much as Netflix.
It's much cheaper than Netflix. They don't have very much 4K or HDR content. I think they have 6 or 8 titles that are 4K and HDR, but they don't charge more for them. Wait until they decide to. I'm sure they're going to charge more eventually.
There's probably going to be a second tier of some premium or whatever.
All this is despite just a 7-day free trial. Most places give you a month.
Yeah,
Disney's giving you 7 days. That's how confident
cheap.
they are.
Yeah, but
and they won because I'm still subscribed.
you didn't even do the trial, Jeff. You just jumped right in.
Well, I did the trial.
Oh, did you do the trial?
Yeah. Well, you get it regardless. You're getting a 7-day
you get free
trial.
7 days no matter what. Yeah.
Okay. It's good. I like the service. It works in every browser I've used. It doesn't complain about Opera. Mm-hmm. Thank goodness. The streaming quality, even at 1080p, is actually very good. So they're not skipping out on that. You got a few exclusives on the platform.
Bonus, they didn't give broadcasting rights to Bell, so we don't have to run it through Crave's crappy app.
Thank goodness.
That's an annoyance for Canadians.
I am hoping...
Stop doing that. Don't sell them your stuff.
I'm hoping that license... The Star Trek license goes back to CBS All Access.
Can we just
have that app doesn't suck.
Can we just have CBS All Access in Canada, please?
We do have it,
but
we don't have Star Trek,
please.
On there. Well, we have Star Trek on there. We don't have Discovery on there,
which is fine because the new season looks bad. But anyway, I want to watch the short trek.
The new short treks are actually really good. They're better than the show almost, pretty much. Please do a Captain Pike show. Just, you know what? This could be the last season of Discovery, and it wouldn't hurt me.
Whoever designed the first half of season 2 of Discovery just needs their own show. That's just that.
That was Star Trek.
Yeah.
And people are back, so now we're going to have noise. Can you close that door?
Yeah, 1 second. Are you going to pause it?
Yep. All right. The door opened. People came back home. We had to go close the door.
That's the rules. We're not going to edit it because
I'm too lazy for that.
We're doing it live, people.
We're doing it live to tape.
All right.
Live to digital tape.
Live to pause. Wait, we
live
paused
to hard drive.
If you pause it, is it considered live? Anyway.
I don't know.
Disney Plus has...
Disney Plus.
That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, we were.
Disney Plus has a exclusive Star Wars show called The Mandalorian, I believe.
Yes.
Right? Which is getting good reviews from what I've seen.
It's good. I don't know if I go out of my way to say it's as good as all the reviews are raving about it, but it is very good. It's cool. To me, it's not long enough.
Oh, like
the
30 minutes.
The first episode's only like 28 minutes, and the second one is 33. For something exclusive like that, I would have liked hour episodes, please.
On the other hand, it's not bad to have a shorter.
It is, but that's like their main calling card to get people in on the service.
Well, that and all the Disney stuff.
Yeah, but they were touting that as a reason for you to subscribe.
That might be a reason.
I'm not sure if it's good enough for a flagship.
That might be reason enough for me to subscribe for a month later when it's done and watch
They're
the whole thing.
Also releasing weekly. Yes.
Because,
obviously, they want you to stay subscribed.
I've become spoiled to the point where I used to watch TV and then watch a new episode of something. Like when Star Trek was coming out way back in the day. And we would watch that every week because it come out every week as a family. And I'm just to the point now where I will watch something when it's completely released. I will watch it on my time all the way through because that's what video on demand has done for me.
There's something to having something released weekly. Like all the anticipation of stuff that builds. We got that with Game of Thrones, right? Everybody's like every week, like, oh, I can't wait till the next thing. Yeah. But,
and I didn't do that. I watched it
Well,
when the season was done.
I still haven't even watched the whole thing.
When it first started coming out, I watched I started watching episode, and then it came out the next week, and I watched the next episode. But then by the end of it, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna wait for the rest of it to come out. And just
that was worth it for the first season. I've watched the next 2 seasons after that. I'm like, why did anybody wait for this? I'm still trying to figure it out.
You were disillusioned with the series far sooner than everyone else was, but eventually everyone, I think, was.
The books are way better, but also there's a lot more stuff in it that is not really needed.
Because it's a book.
Yeah, but really not needed.
Oh, just superfluous stuff?
Yeah, superfluous sex.
Oh.
I mean, obviously they put all of that in the HBO show.
They did. Well, apparently not all of it.
No, not all of it, but
a lot of it,
yeah, anyway, that's why people subscribe to HBO, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the service is really good. The TV app is good on Roku, nicely set up. The Windows interface and browser is really good. Only complaint I have is every other video service, spacebar is pause. It's not on Disney Plus, so I got to use my function plus pause key on my keyboard to get things to pause, or I got to move the mouse and click. Other problem is as soon as you start a video, it goes full screen in the browser, but it does not do full screen on your window. That's okay, except it takes focus from your mouse, so you can't find your mouse unless you click to get your mouse back on the screen. If you do that, the video pauses. Really annoying.
So you can't just go full screen right away and just.
Why can't I just move my mouse and hit maximize or hit full screen on the video? Why do I have to tap on the screen? Then the video pauses.
So a few minor inconveniences.
Netflix has been around long enough. Why couldn't you do that right?
It's the kind of thing that's like everyone does this. This is a pretty basic.
It's like it's a standard. YouTube does that. Yeah. I don't understand why that's not a thing. And it automatically goes on to the next show when it's done one show. But really good. I watched both Mandalorian episodes that were out, 1 and 2. And then I watched A Guilty Pleasure, which is Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Really love that movie. Don't know why.
I have no idea what that is, but
it's a Disney movie. It's good. It's good. Has Angela Lansbury in it.
No idea who that is, but okay.
Murder, She Wrote.
No idea what that is, but okay.
What?
Keeping in mind, I'm the guy that only plays video games. I don't really watch a lot of stuff, so.
But you didn't watch any Disney movies when you were young?
Oh yeah, lots.
And you don't know who Angela Lansbury is?
No. I watched
I'm stunned. Okay.
I watched The Lion King and Cinderella and Snow White.
Okay, well those are obviously not. Those are animated.
Yeah. That's a Disney movie to me.
Wow. Well, I mean, yeah, it is to me too. But I also watched other stuff that they did back in the day.
I was mostly cartoons and stuff for me. So
Mary Poppins, you know what that is? Right?
I have seen Mary Poppins.
Okay,
the first one. I didn't see the sequel.
The father in that is also in Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Okay.
That actor, which as far as I know, those are the only movies he's known for.
Cool.
Because I looked it up and I'd never seen anything else. Good actor, but yeah. Anyway, wow. So Disney Plus, yes, I subscribe to it. It's worth it. $8 a month is really good. I mean, Netflix is $14.99 if you want to be able to stream 4K. And I'll be honest, I canceled my Netflix subscription. I actually did it, by the way.
You canceled?
I actually did it.
Because you got, to me,
nothing on there I want to watch anymore.
Well,
all the Marvel stuff is on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So if I want to watch that, it's all there. The only thing they're missing is they need 4K.
To me, it makes sense because you don't really need 2 TV subscriptions running simultaneously.
Well, I do have
and you
several.
have done that before.
Because
to be fair,
everything has stuff that I'd like to watch.
Yeah. Well, previously you were watching Netflix for stuff and then Crave for Star Trek, almost specifically, although I'm sure you did explore other things. But
there's not a lot
else on there
unless you pay $40
so that
a
doesn't
month
really
for
count
their other
you're basically paying the $10 a month that are just to
I've
watch Star Trek.
basically paid that every month just for 3 short treks now.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you could probably cancel that until the new season comes out or whatever.
Probably, but I won't. And then I have CBS All Access because NCIS. And why do I have? Oh, I initially subscribed to it accidentally because I thought For some reason, that Discovery was going to be on there, but it's not.
Oh, but you stayed for the NCIS. Apparently.
I did.
Yeah, okay.
Because they released the new episode next day on the app, so I do enjoy doing that. So I've been keeping up with that, and their app is good. Like it doesn't suck. So, yeah.
Your app does kind of suck. I have Prime Video because I have Amazon Prime, not
It's
because I
pretty shit.
specifically. That's a bad app.
It's shit.
They have some good stuff on there, but the app is bad. Especially if you're trying to search for something. You're trying to search.
They have that new Stack TV service, which is literally Steam, or it has streaming channels of actual channels going.
Oh, okay.
And then you can have access to a lot of the back catalogs of a lot of those channels. It's really awkward to use.
It is.
Doesn't make any sense.
It runs fine. It's got some cool stuff, but like I said, especially if you're trying to search for a specific show, it's or try to get to a specific spot.
Why when you search for a show on that service is it split by season?
It's split by season, and it doesn't keep track of where you were in that season.
That should be a next level thing after you search for the show.
Absolutely, it's very confusing.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
It's it's unnecessarily complicated to try to get to where you want to go.
Very much so.
Because you would think that you just go to. Like you would just have it as this show, and you go click, and then it would automatically show you where you were. Like you were at this episode last time you watched.
No,
but it doesn't.
No,
it's anyway. I mean, I only have Prime Video because I have Prime.
Yeah, it's not like we're really paying for it.
But I have used it.
Prime, but
I've used it to watch several things, and it's good. It's just it's inconvenient to try to find what you're looking for.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Jack Ryan's on there now.
I still want to watch the second season. I watched the first season when it came out, and I really liked it.
So good.
It was very good.
Second season is not as good.
Not as good?
As far as I can tell.
Disappointing.
Still good.
I really enjoyed the first season. I started watching it because they said I was on Twitch at the time, and they're like, well, you can get free stuff if you watch the first episode. I was like, oh, okay, I'll try it out. I don't have anything to watch. So I was like, you know what, maybe I'll try it out. So I tried it, and I was like, this is really good. And I watched the whole thing in like 2 days.
It's really good. Really good.
This is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I haven't booted that up yet, but I kind of want to see the second season. But
I wish it sort of followed the storyline of the books. It doesn't really. I wish it did. But it's a good modernization of sort of a lot of it, so that's cool. Okay. Stadia launched.
Yeah, we got to talk about Stadia. Everyone's harping on Stadia, and not for no reason.
I think Google deserves every negative comment they've gotten.
Yeah, so basically Stadia, which I'm sure everyone's heard of it. It's the new gaming console, in quotation marks, that Google's releasing on November 19th, coming up shortly. It's a streaming service, streaming games. I'm very interested to see how well it works. There's a lot of a lot of concerns on latency, data caps, which we thankfully don't have a problem with here where we are. But a lot of people will have problems with data caps, and that kind of, just question mark to see how well it'll work. The problem right now is all the features that they've touted, or not all of them, but most of them are non-existent at launch or have big asterisks next to them. For example, they said you can run it off a Chromecast to your TV, which you can, but only if you buy the Chromecast that comes with the Founders Edition, which is sold out. If you already have a Chromecast Ultra, you won't be able to play it until they release the firmware update, which is coming sometime after launch. Soon. So that's a thing.
Beta culture sucks.
Yeah. Well,
don't release stuff that's not ready.
This is again a launch in air quotes because it's a launch, but it's anyway. There's a lot more. None of the crowd play features they talked about are yet. I mean, apparently crowd play is ready, but no games have implemented it yet. So that's still. It's not existent. I mean, it's not necessarily Google's responsibility at that point, but at the same time, it's not there. It's not available like they said it would be. Any of the features like share estates, buddy passes, any of that stuff that they promised, not available yet. You can play on your PC, but only at 1080p. You can't 4K stream. 4K streaming is only available on the Chromecast Ultra, again, the one that comes with. You can also only play it on your Pixel 3 or 4. if you want a phone. That's the other device you can use.
Why do
Again,
people want a
1080p.
4K stream on a cell phone?
I don't think you can yet. I think
Okay,
I think it's also 1080p. I could be wrong on that one. I'm not 100% sure,
Regardless,
so don't quote me.
why would you want to?
I don't know. Maybe you're on the move and you have a good Wi-Fi signal. Doesn't make-
4K on a screen that small?
Do they have? Are the pixels 4K?
I don't know what they are, but if they're streaming 4K or whatever the hell it is, I'm
Yeah, I
just
don't-
saying I don't understand. Yeah.
I have no idea what I don't have a Pixel, so I'm not sure what their resolution is. But so yeah, you can apparently use those, but you need to at least have the controller to run it. Right now, you can use other controllers, but they have to be. You can't use them with your Chromecast yet. You can only use the Stadia controller with your Chromecast at this time. So they promised you didn't have to buy the controller, but you do now at launch. The free 1080p only streaming service is not yet available. Sometime in 2020, they said. So if you want in now, you have to buy the subscription. It's only the pro version.
That's never going to happen, by the way.
The free version.
That's
You think it's? It could be. They said it's coming, but yeah, we don't.
It's never going to happen.
We don't know. You still have to buy all the games. So even if you pay for the subscription, you're not getting actual content. You're just getting the ability to purchase and stream the content. So there's a lot of stuff that's odd.
This is what's going to happen. They may do a free 1080p service.
Yeah.
But they may offer just a couple games every month that does that. They're never going to do that.
You think it'd be full? It's supposed to be full for everything.
Yeah.
There's also supposed to be one free game a month, but apparently the first free game, if you're part of the subscription, the first free game is Destiny 2, which is already a free to play. So I'm not sure how that works out.
It's really free.
It's very much
Double free.
apparently. And there's only 12 games at launch that are available on Stadia. So. Really, and they're mostly
all
old
games I don't want to play.
Well, they're mostly old too. There's only a few that are fairly recent, like Red Dead is like last year, I think.
Yeah.
And Assassin's Creed Odyssey was last year as well, and I believe that's
was that last year or the year before?
I think it's last year.
Might have been last year. Yeah.
So, but there's like
Odyssey might be interesting, but I can get that on my computer. So
initially I was kind of interested to just try it out, but I didn't realize that the free version wasn't available at launch. Because I could just like boot up the free version, try Destiny 2 out, and see how well. Because I'm just mostly interested in how the tech works.
Yeah. No, I'm interested in that too, but you got to pay $150 to get in on it, and then you got to pay for your monthly fee.
And the other caveat was you can't actually purchase or set up your anything through you have to use your smartphone app to do it. So you have to go through Google Play Store to do it. So if you want to buy a game, you have to buy it through Google Play Store on your phone. Now, I don't know how Chromecasts exactly work because I've never used one, but
Chromecast is literally just a streaming dongle to stream from your phone.
Yeah, so I don't know how, are you going to have to switch games on your phone too? Because they showed like an interface that looked like kind of like a Netflix thing where you can switch between your games and switch over to your other one. But I don't know how they're going to do that. Is it from your phone? Because you need, I don't know. So it's a console that you can buy right now for $130. Well, you can't buy it now. You can pre-order the premiere version.
Anything they promised, and it won't be available on their launch except for those lucky ones that ordered early.
It does do the core thing they promised apparently, which is let you stream a game, some games.
They promised a lot more than that, as far as I'm concerned.
So there is one thing it does, which is the core. Now, whether or not that works is a kind of a big sticking point. If it works, we have potential. If it doesn't work very well.
Well, you said they were talking about 20 gigabytes in an hour or two.
The estimate, I think, I think that was for the 4K version, but the estimate data cap usage is 20 gigabytes per hour, which is it's going to fill up the data cap.
I'm sorry to say, and it'll be roughly a quarter of that for a 1080p user. That's DOA. For anybody that has a data cap, they can't use this service.
It's not. Well, I wouldn't say DOA. It's a service that is not for you if you have a data cap,
which is 70-80% of the people out there. So at least in North America.
Yeah. Now I don't know who the early adopters are. The Founders Edition apparently sold out, so there's got to be enough interest that sells out.
Even I almost pre-ordered one, and I'm not super interested. Although I like that blue controller, but
the controllers actually look kind of interesting.
That D-pad scares me. I'm not sure. Yeah. D-pads always scare me though, because if you don't do a D-pad right, I mean most games don't use them now anyway, but if you don't do one right, it's really frustrating. like the Switch's D-pad is crap.
It is bad, yeah.
So, anyway, I don't know.
So there's a lot of missing stuff. To me, this is a product that needs some more time in the oven, from the sounds of things. So I will not be even trying it
Just
for a while, at least.
I get they're trying to release this for U.S. Thanksgiving. That's one thing. But if your product is not done, don't launch it.
Yeah.
Just don't launch it. I'm so tired of that.
This is really looking like a rush product that are trying to get up before Black Friday, and it's maybe delay it till next year's Black Friday.
Well, I'd say that, or just release it when it's ready.
Yeah.
People will still buy it.
Yeah.
It's not like you're getting a deal on it. Most of the services aren't even available. So,
but that's another interesting thing to think about if they're releasing it for Black Friday, because their primary version of it is already sold out. Like their launch version of it.
Yeah, but we don't know how many units.
We have no idea. But
like,
what are they? I guess the question is, the speculation is that they're trying to release it for Black Friday. But what are they selling on Black Friday? If they're like pre-orders for the next wave, because their first wave's already sold out. So
I don't know.
But anyway, it's something that a lot of people have been claiming. Yeah, this is not ready. It doesn't look ready. Even the people that are excited for this kind of technology.
I think the technology is interesting.
It brings up a question of value right now.
I think there's a point to having something local that can at least control stuff.
Yeah.
Doing all of everything remotely, I think, is not quite right.
I agree that I think piggybacking it on a Chromecast is probably not the best option. Releasing a cheap device that you can connect to your TV that's like a Chromecast but has a built-in app for
like
it, like a normal
like
console,
a Fire Stick
like
or a Roku stick,
right?
Or something
you
like
could
that.
you could use the Google Play Store from the actual device. Would have been a lot more.
Well,
helpful.
that's just as crazy as like a lot of the stuff you do with the Oculus Go that I have. If you want to get a lot of the apps, you got to do it through their app. You can do it on the device, but the interface is very clunky. It might have improved. I'll be honest, I haven't used it in quite a while. I don't know.
If they've been.
I have an audio Chromecast that's built into my receiver. And I'll be honest, it works really good. If your apps is Chromecast compatible on your phone, it just sees it and it works.
Yep.
So
smart.
That technology works. It's good. That technology is proven.
But the interesting part there is they've said that you only need your phone for initial setup and to purchase games. So I'm not sure what you do in the, like when you're actually using it. There's got to be something else that they're working off of, but I don't know what it is. The point is, they haven't positioned this as an alternative to PC gaming, like other streaming services, like the one that Shadow Gaming. Have you heard of that one? It's basically you are paying them to use their servers as the hardware. Same idea with streaming your games, except it's like
Play TV and stuff had the same idea.
What you do is you log into their server to your. So, for example, you can go in their server, log into your Steam account, and run your Steam games on their hardware. So you're using Steam as a.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a way so then you can switch between your computer to your TV and it's. This is not that. This is an alternative, supposedly competing against like PlayStation and Xbox and Nintendo and that kind of stuff. Using a PC-like architecture, but they've also neglected the benefits of consoles, which is a self-contained device that lets you do all sorts of stuff and just run stuff off of that platform.
Mm-hmm.
So they're kind of caught in the middle and not, they're in no man's land right now. Even if all the services were available, you're kind of a whole new thing. You're not really competing.
And I don't think all those services are enough to differentiate. In certain cases, are interesting, but PlayStation can still do a lot of like that sharing stuff and whatever with friends. It can do a lot of that already.
Yeah.
So I don't. And on PlayStation, if you have your saves, like if you have PlayStation Plus, which pretty much everyone has, not everyone, but pretty much, most of your saves are saved to the cloud anyway. So if you're going to a friend's house or if you want to share something, you can just have your friend log in with your account and do it. I don't necessarily recommend that technically, but I'm just saying that is a way you can do it. You shouldn't give people your account info. I'm just saying you can do that.
You'd have to do the same thing with Stadia anyways, though, right? You still have to log into your own account.
Yeah, but you can you can share the save though, right? With a
you
friend
can,
to try
not
something.
yet, but
No, but that's something you're going to be able to do
yeah,
without
that's what they've said.
giving them your account info.
You can
What I'm
send them
saying
your
is
save
that's
sheet,
something you can do that on the PlayStation if you log in on their machine with your info.
Right.
You can share a game though, which is really cool. Somebody remotely can play a game if it supports it. I think it's called Share Play. I'm not sure, but I did that with Kevin.
Yeah.
It was really cool because I shared the game and I could watch him playing my game on my screen and he was playing the game on his screen.
Yep.
And there wasn't a big delay. I think there was still a little bit of one, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing too was supposed to be just the value of it, that you could play stuff without needing to pay for hardware.
$150 is not far off. If you double that, you can get a PlayStation.
Yeah. Well, right. And that's the thing, because right now you don't need to buy the
and
hardware.
that comes with something that plays 4K, or no, it doesn't play 4K Blu-rays. It streams 4K, but it plays Blu-ray, and it's got a huge library of things it can play.
Yeah.
So
right now it's not the value proposition isn't there. Is the main point.
Not when you're paying $150 for a controller.
You don't need to buy. Well, you're paying $150 for the Chromecast and the controller, I think, right?
Not with the fancy one.
The
Not with
Founders.
the other one. The other one is just you're buying a controller.
But I thought they were like $60 a pop.
It's $150 to pre-order right now, whatever they have.
Yeah,
on
which is the
website right
Chromecast and the controller, I believe.
now. It doesn't say anything, but I don't care. Whatever.
I think it's both. But anyway, I could be wrong.
Now
I'm pretty sure.
I'm actually
I'm pretty sure
curious.
it's the Chromecast Ultra that has the proper firmware or whatever on it, and the
It's
actual
not a
Stadia
Chromecast
controller.
Ultra though. It's just. I'm looking.
I thought it was an Ultra.
Never mind. Yep, it's showing a Chromecast there, so you win. But that's
Yay.
okay.
So the point, yeah. So
But
you
the
don't-
Chromecast Ultra is
the
literally
point-
pennies.
The
so-
point behind it was if you already had hardware, like you already had a PC, you could use your PC without any hardware purchasing. Now, I don't know, like if you're trying to compete against PC gaming, someone who already has a PC that's a gaming PC doesn't need Stadia.
Well,
unless
that's
they're
the thing.
trying to-
Like, if you're already a gamer, this
Yeah.
is not for you.
Well, and that's why initially thinking like, hey, something like Shadow, what they could do is if I could. So let's say I have a decent gaming PC, like I can run games at 1080p, no problem. I want to run this game at 4K on my TV. Maybe I want to try it on Stadia, but I also have to buy it again. So that's inconvenient. So it's something that lets you just log in with your account and play on their hardware for your subscription price. Maybe someone will be more interested in that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, PC gaming, until you want to do your, like maybe when you want to do a new PC build, you'd be like, well, I could do a PC build, but Stadia is pretty good, so I could just run it off Stadia instead, and it saves me a little money.
That hasn't even occurred to me.
Well, we're tinkers, but
No, but if you're a PC gamer, you're not even thinking about that.
not yet. You may in the future, but again, that's in the future.
Only if this technology is flawless.
Well, that's what I mean. These people are going to wait for it to be mature. So, like at launch, you're probably not appealing to that.
But will
crowd.
it get there? Like, I
don't
literally
know.
think the Stadia is a 2 to 3 year thing, and it's going to be gone
A lot of people are predicting
if
it'll
it
die.
lasts that long.
Because like I was saying, right, they position themselves kind of in the in-between market.
Mm-hmm.
So people that are buying consoles now are buying consoles for their simplicity, right? Simple, you plug it in,
works.
you buy a game, and you play it.
Yep. Or if you're
Awesome.
into Xbox, if you're into Xbox,
Or if you're an
you're going to
Xbox.
have to freaking buy a game.
That's true. You could just get the Game Pass
Yeah.
and play 200 or
But it's
100
all
games
there.
or
It
whatever.
just works. You don't have
Yeah.
to screw around with any of this other stuff. And you don't have to worry about any kind of lag because there isn't any.
To be fair, trying to compare value, if you're willing to do the Game Pass, trying to compare value between Xbox and any other console right now, Xbox is kind of winning.
No, Microsoft's got that market hands down. Right
They've kind of
now.
sucked
Until
this whole
Sony
generation.
takes that stuff more serious,
Yeah.
until
they turn PS
They're
Now
annoying.
into a I can download these games service, then I could see them competing.
you can,
you do it
depending
now?
on the games now.
Oh, okay. So they're starting to roll it out now.
It depends on what you choose.
Mm-hmm.
You do get access to do that, so you're not necessarily always streaming.
But PS Now also suffers from what seems like a really rapid turnover for some of these games. Like Persona 5 just got on there, but it's only on there for like 5 months.
Yeah, and it
Which
happens
is
to
weird.
their own first-party games too, which doesn't make any
like
sense.
God of War is only on there.
If you own the rights to it, leave the damn game on there.
Yeah.
However, Microsoft does retire games too.
Yeah, that's part of the nature
So-
of the subscription thing, right?
Yeah, which
Which is the
bugs the actual
downside.
crap out of me.
That's the downside to a subscription model, be it games or like Netflix or whatever. That's because they can pull it off whenever they want to.
Yeah.
Which is annoying. But like for PlayStation, it seems to be like very rapid. Like,
yeah, no, it doesn't make any sense, and they still only have a catalog of 500 games or something, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that's spread over PS4, PS3, PS2, and PS1. Like it's, yeah,
it's crazy. So, but anyway, those subscriptions are something that Stadia lacks right now, and something that someone that's looking to buy, like to pay a subscription to play games, to also have to buy a game on top of that for a subscription that may not, because when you think about subscriptions, you have to be aware that they might not be available in the future, right? So if your subscription to actually play the games becomes not available in the future, your games are dead, right? Like these things you've paid for, these digital.
This is the problem I have.
dead.
And then you're buying games off any of these services.
Yeah.
They could just, you may own the game. You may even have it downloaded to your hard drive or whatever, in which case that doesn't work with Stadia. It's all streaming.
Yeah.
They can still tell it to not allow you to play it.
Yep.
So it's,
they could they haven't really got into that yet, but they could. It's a
that happened to Alan Wake.
You can still play it though.
Well, it's no. Well, they got the rights
can't
back
buy it
anyway.
anymore.
But no, you can. You can buy it. It's
It's
back up.
back
It
now.
was.
But
It
for a while
was
there
like
you
a month
couldn't.
or something. It was
Yeah.
gone. But that
I have a
happened
couple
to
games. Like I think there's another one that just recently is no longer available for sale, but you can still download and play it.
But
But
it's inevitable in the future
it might
that
start
they're going to
happening.
do that because they don't want to be able to serve that stuff
And
all the
that's when
time
the-
because they'll have to have unlimited storage to be able to keep.
That's
doing
when the battle of digital rights legal stuff's going to start happening. And we're
that.
going to see how
and
that turns
it's
out.
not far off.
But there's no guarantee that that's going to be a win for the consumer. So if you're looking into that and you're worried about that, but this is all the thing because Stadia puts that barrier right in front and right in their control. So if you're worried about that happening, like you are worried about Stadia falling apart in a few months, you spent $120 on 2 games or whatever, or 3 games, you just wasted your money, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's risk. There is some risk involved for the consumer,
Mm-hmm.
and they haven't exactly reinforced
Now,
confidence.
I
at this
should
point.
say also, like they can also do the same thing to a console that's online. So
Yes.
they can also like if you put in a physical disc, you have
'Cause it's
most
all
of them
digital.
they don't even like the game's on the disc, but most of them you download the game anyway.
Yep.
I mean, usually most games do have a workable copy of the game on the disc, but they can still just send a package saying you can't play that anymore. So the only way you can get around that is to buy a console that's never been hooked up online.
Which
I
is
believe Microsoft requires you to at least register their console online. So
possibly.
Sony does not, but I believe
But
that's a requirement.
The other thing that
for
you can
Microsoft.
happen in today's digital age is a lot of games release broken and then they patch it day one, right? So if you don't patch day one, you have a broken game. In some cases, right?
Probably, yeah.
With varying levels of severity. Anyway, the point there is it's a digital age and things are changing, but Stadia is kind of in the middle of a problem right now. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see.
I still think streaming is going to become more and more popular. I just don't know if Stadia is the way it's going to happen.
I
But
don't know how it can become more popular until data caps are removed. Like I don't.
Well, with data caps, no pun there, but with data caps, there is a cap on how popular it can become, right? Like until
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like this Stadia, literally, as far as I can tell, is basically just for tech journalists. Because
Well, I imagine a good chunk of the pre-orders
they're probably
is tech
people that
right?
have no caps, or they have a cap so high that it doesn't matter, or they just don't game very much.
But I
So-
imagine a lot of the pre-orders were for people that wanted to try it
Yeah.
for the tech world, not like your average
And
consumer.
I would
We'll
still
see.
like to try something like that. I've tried PlayStation Plus, and it really wasn't that bad.
When
And
I
from
tried
what
it,
I know, it's really improved.
okay,
now.
because I tried it when it was early, like new.
Mhm.
That latency was
Their
wow.
biggest problem is, well, actually, no, it's not a problem. It's $100 a year now, which actually isn't bad.
Yeah,
I think that's US, I believe. So
but $100 a
I
year
don't know what it
plus
is
you
here.
get their games.
Yeah.
You don't.
Well, that's the thing
It's
there.
not
Again,
$100 a
Google doesn't
year
have their own games. They
to
have to
play.
rely on partnerships with other companies to get games.
Yeah.
Uh,
Now they have said, and I don't think this isn't available yet, but they have said that, for example, I think it's Uplay Plus will be integrated into Stadia at some point. Is the thought? Now it's going to still be 2 subscriptions, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So you could get something similar to to that like subscription based thing from Ubisoft.
Or
but
don't pay another subscription and just buy an Xbox.
well, that's the other part of the competition we haven't even talked about, which is the Microsoft's payment plan thing, which is similar to a phone, which we've kind of ragged on already. But you can actually get an Xbox for a monthly fee, as long to pay while paying for the subscriptions for was it a year or a couple of years or something. Get actual hardware up front. So if you are hurting for money, that might be a way to do it, because you're not really buying games; you're paying for the subscription to play on Game Pass. It's not a bad deal either.
Yep.
It does have the drawbacks of like a phone contract, like we discussed earlier, but yeah.
Contracts. Everything has to be monthly. Let's have a continuous revenue
It has
stream.
to be monthly because nobody has the money to afford these things, but they still want them.
We would if people would stop paying for stuff monthly and start refusing to do that stuff. They would have to change how they're doing it. But people aren't. They're happy with paying monthly. Mm-hmm. I seriously think people are going bankrupt. With this constant drain of monthly subscriptions.
Well, that's the thing. If you're not careful about turning off subscriptions.
Well, I calculated what I was spending, and
you were shocked,
it's too much money.
It's a lot. That's why
it's half a car payment. That's ridiculous.
I'm very,
and I'm not like I don't have cable.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm not paying for that, but like all this other stuff, just
it can add up faster than you realize. For me, I am extremely paranoid when it comes to my subscriptions. So, for example, when I subscribed to Game Pass this month because it was up for $1, and I wanted to play The Outer Worlds, and I was like, well, I could either pay for a subscription on Xbox Game Pass or buy it on the Epic Store, and I was like, well, I'll pay $1 and play it on Xbox. So I did that. But what I did was and this is one thing that it should be standard, but I applaud Microsoft for including it. You can immediately turn off recurring payment. Now, they still automatically put it on, but you can go in there, hit the button that says, do not automatically do a recurring payment.
That's something that's annoying about PlayStation Now.
Yeah.
You can subscribe to it through the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
But to unsubscribe, you have to log into their system on your computer.
I hate that.
Dig through several websites to get to their unsubscribe feature.
That's a pain. And they do that on purpose. They do that
on purpose. That's ridiculous.
Yes. See, with Microsoft, you do have to use it through the Microsoft Store website.
Yeah.
But you hit it off your app. You say, check out my subscription, and it pulls up the website.
Yeah.
And you just hit stop paying.
Yeah, it doesn't take you right there. I was playing,
and it says, are you sure? And you hit yes, and it stops.
Yeah. Doesn't do
that. Which is very... it should be standard. It should be legally required, but it's not.
Actually, I agree with that, and that's something they'll have to change in the future too. That's something that should be the subscription should be disabled to start.
Yeah,
it should not be automatically checked like that, because that feeds on people. Like, I'm aware that I'm still subscribed to things, but there are people out there that'll subscribe, and they're not aware, or they just don't understand how that stuff works.
Well, it's like a month. You can easily forget what's going on in a month, not be paying close attention to your credit card bill. Well, like, what the hell?
And a month for me goes by as if it's been 4 days, because I'm gone for a week at a time.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take long, and I've made another payment. So it's
now there is something you could say. Well, you really got to keep track of your own credit card payments, and I get that. But there's also something here that's like you got to really watch, because they intentionally.
Well, it's predatory.
They design it so that you forget about it.
Yeah,
that's like, or make it hard for you to unsubscribe.
It's predatory.
It's a little predatory, because that's how they make a lot of money. So you in the modern thing with subscriptions,
and it's not like they send you a message that they're a week before it renews telling you this is renewing.
Yes,
they don't. Nobody sends you an email. The only person I know that sends me an email for that, two people. Sorry, Microsoft will let you know that your Xbox Gold is renewing. I think they send it at 3 months and then a month before.
Oh, yeah. They're very good at warning.
They're pretty good. And then Amazon usually sends you a message that your Prime is renewing.
Amazon, you have to check it.
Check what?
There's a checkbox that says remind me.
Oh, okay. Well, they send me an email. I don't remember ever checking it, but maybe
they've changed that, but it used to be that you had to actually check the box that says remind me that I'm about to re-up.
Yeah.
But Amazon and Microsoft, for all the criticism against them, are actually pretty good. Their subscriptions are pretty up forward. They say this is what's happening.
Yeah.
So I give them credit for that.
All right, that's Stadia and subscriptions. We need to move on.
Moving on. We've spent a lot of time on that. I think we don't have a lot left, do we? Or?
We got a few stories left.
All right, let's talk about
All right. Linux driver indicates that AMD is getting ready to put out integer scaling. So remember when, I think it was NVIDIA or Intel? Which one was it that said they were going to do Intel?
Actually, both, I think, now have said they want to
do
do integer. But Intel
that was a big thing from Intel, right?
Yeah. Because they were going to put it in
they were like, only we can do it.
Well, they were going to put it in their new integrated chips, I believe.
Well, the new
iGPUs.
the new iGPUs or whatever, yeah. So AMD's like, we could do that, and they're like, here it comes, I guess. Apparently, it's like how NVIDIA's what was it? Image sharpening.
Yep.
Which is literally the same thing, basically as anyway, whatever. NVIDIA's like, oh, we can do that.
Yeah.
And they just added it. Like, anyway.
So it makes you think that they have this stuff waiting, but they're just waiting for someone else to do it first, because otherwise they don't want it to do it.
Yeah. Anyway, integer scaling is pretty cool, especially for people that like old school games. So.
Yeah, very useful for scaling up older resolutions.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I don't know what else. It's basically a pixel-to-pixel representation, except bigger. So
yeah, a straight integer.
There's really not a whole lot of explanation needed there. It doesn't have to do any fancy. doesn't have to do any fancy. Well, like it's showing on this page, bilinear interpolation basically fuzzes everything up because the computer has to add pixels to make stuff bigger, and it's sort of guessing what it needs and stuff, and it ends up not being very clear. So there are certain advantages and there are disadvantages. There's something to say about bilinear interpolation because I don't know if some people realize, but on a big screen, if you're getting pixels from those games that are like an inch big, it doesn't look that good either. I mean, it looks like crap the other way too, but it's, I don't know. You're seeing really big pixels then.
Yeah, this is why it's mostly useful for older games, because newer ones, it might not. It doesn't.
Well, new games, it's not what it's for. It's not for new stuff. Games. It's for old games that are literally pixel graphics. It's just, like I'm saying, you may not like it that way either. It's more clear, but when you've got a 1-inch pixel because it was 320 by 240 or something when the original game was released, resolution, I mean, it's not going to look great on your TV either. So some of that fancy stuff where the computer can sort of fix some of the graphics so it looks better on the TV. At least I know there are purists out there screaming at me right now, and I'm a purist. I honestly am. But once you get a TV so big and it's doing that, or a screen, whatever, a monitor, it may not look as great as you think either. So, but there you go. That's that. Good news. Mass Effect game is in very early development. Somebody reports.
That's been reported.
Actually, that's not good news. I don't know.
To me, that's. I'm one of the biggest Mass Effect fans you'll ever see in existence.
The concern to me is actually they're probably correct, because they know there's people that want Mass Effect.
Yep.
But they did. The last game was not good.
It was. It was such a step down from the original trilogy.
Yeah.
That makes me really nervous for the next iteration, and. BioWare's, and then I was really nervous after the release of Anthem this year, which was trash.
Yep.
In my opinion.
Trash with zero communication or updates.
No, I'm not. It's only getting worse,
so I'm not one of these guys that's like an update guy that needs to have updates all the time. To me, a game should be the whole game and released when it's released.
I agree.
However, unless you sell an expansion. Remember expansions?
I love expansions.
And those were done when they were released too.
Yeah. The problem is, in the modern live service thing, this is a live service game, which means they released it with nothing, and they're supposed to add things to it.
Which they did.
And they didn't, so it's still just nothing.
Except for apparently some really cool Mass Effect uniforms that you can get now.
Yeah, in celebration of N7 Day.
Yeah.
That's the coolest thing they've released. That game, while not mechanically bad, it looked good, it played okay, there's nothing to it. It was complete crap. So I am not excited for this. I should be, as a huge fan of the original trilogy, should be excited that this is happening.
I would be more excited if they just do a 4K update of the original games.
I would buy that.
I would probably buy it on multiple platforms.
Yeah.
But they don't seem to be wanting to do that.
So
Shenmue 3 launch trailer is here, and it's out soon. Mine's been shipped, actually. As a backer,
you
we
were
get
a
it early.
backer. Did you get the?
I backed that
physical?
3 years ago. What's that?
You got the PlayStation physical version?
I did. I
Not
did.
the,
I
Epic
did
version?
not get the Steam that turned into Epic release.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any reason to play this on PC because it's not a very taxing game. And when you look at it, you can tell that it's not something that's pushing the boundaries of the tech.
No, it looks a little.
It's not ugly,
It's not
but
ugly.
you can tell it's. I mean, it's designed to run well on the hardware that's available on console.
Yeah, which is getting
which is
pretty dated.
good because if it's getting it's getting dated, but if it runs on that really well, I have no problem with that. So,
Yep.
What I'm looking forward to here is that it's supposed to be a huge story thing, but the biggest thing about Shenmue 3 is that, or Shenmue at least 1 and 2, everything in the game you could interact with it, literally everything. So there's a post there. He'll say something about a post if you interact with it. So it's everything is in there. So you can do anything. It's essentially the Asian version of GTA, except not quite like GTA.
It looks strange.
Yeah, it looks different, and I haven't played the first two. I just know what they are. But I felt when I backed it, I felt that I needed to back history, as it were. He's not going to make another one. This will be the last one. But I think it's an important part of this game's history. So anyway, I'm looking forward to it. Will I ever have enough time to play it? Probably not.
But you have enough time to try it.
Yes, I will.
That's good.
So, so the game's coming, but all the extra stuff that I get with mine, because I backed it on a pretty high level, comes later, which is fine. So, and guess what? This game's done.
Shenmue 3's done.
On release. It's done.
They're not going to
the game's done. That's why they delayed it because they wanted it to be done.
That's novel. That's the same thing with me playing the Outer Worlds earlier. It was like they made a game, and then they released it.
And
it's a game.
It's a game.
It doesn't you don't need to buy outfits. They're just in the game. Like, whoa.
Well, you have to when it comes to Shenmue 3, you have to realize that at this point the studio's been disbanded.
Yeah. So
because there's no money left.
We built this. We used all your money. Here
it's
it is.
Done. Here's the game. It's over. So they may have a skeleton crew that can do certain
bug fixes
and stuff, but there isn't any money left at this point. So which is fine. So the game's done, which is great.
Yeah.
Microsoft announced that all the Final Fantasy games are on at Game Pass.
They announced quite a bit of stuff for Game Pass. Yeah, a lot of Final Fantasy.
Yep. Final Fantasy 7 through 15. So,
yeah. Which is cool. They didn't say you can get 7 Remake though, because that's a PlayStation exclusive.
Well, it's not out yet, so I'm not. That's not. That doesn't surprise me.
They announced a lot of stuff that's coming to Game Pass next year, so, yeah, including the Yakuza series, the remakes.
Did hear about that? Yep.
So that's pretty cool.
And one last story here: Blizzard has completely changed, says Diablo's original creators. What a surprise!
They've changed a lot. I mean, they were bought by Activision.
Yeah.
And Blizzard's gone down a sad path. They used to be like my favorite company. And
the last bastion of like a company that was like gamers themselves.
Yeah. They made good strategy games, and I like strategy games. Not a lot of people make them anymore. I was really hoping at BlizzCon this year that they would announce, there was some rumor for a bit there about another StarCraft game, and I was like, ooh. But no. But alas.
No, instead they released Overwatch 2, which doesn't make any sense.
Overwatch 2, which is not a sequel, but it is a sequel, but it's not, but it's an expansion.
But it's not, and then they say that now that Overwatch will cease to exist because all of the content from Overwatch 2 will be released for Overwatch
1.
Yeah. But it'll cease to be Overwatch 1. No, the guy talked about it.
Oh, okay.
It will eventually all become part of Overwatch. So, because the games are going to merge. So
it's an expansion.
It's an expansion that's backward.
So they're going to release Overwatch.
Maybe they should have, I don't know, just released an expansion like you just said.
Yeah.
Come on.
They said they wanted to redefine what sequel
this
meant.
Is literally cashing in on people. That's
This is-
all it is.
They wanted to redefine what a sequel is in the sense of that they wanted people to pay for a new game, but then not actually
Pay for a new game that's the same game that's going to merge with the first game.
Because they already said
That's
that
going to be the same game.
it's already going to be all the multiplayer stuff and
I
characters
know that.
and stuff is all in
But now
one.
he literally said it's going to be merging into the. It's going to be the same game.
So if you wait long
Why
enough,
are you?
So
I
basically,
don't understand.
if I own Overwatch now and I wait long enough, does Overwatch 2 will eventually be part
Overwatch
of Overwatch
2
1?
is one of those betas that everyone signs up for, right?
Yeah.
So that you can get early access to all the stuff that's
So
going
I
to
have
come
to
later.
pay money
You have to pay money to enter this beta.
to get into Overwatch 2, or I could just wait a year and then it's just going to be there anyway.
It's going to be there anyway.
So I could just play it with my current Overwatch thing. So
What is their strategy here? Do they think everyone's that
know.
stupid?
I don't know. It makes no sense. What happened? They said they wanted to redefine a sequel, but they haven't defined
They
anything.
redefined it by saying,
No, they didn't
we're making you pay for an expansion that's going to be added to the original game anyway.
But they called it a sequel. That's what I mean. When you say
Yeah.
you wanted to redefine something, that means you have to define
Yeah,
it.
they defined
This is
it by saying it's nothing like
No,
what they
this is-
said.
This is undefined. This is like, does this mean anything? Anyway, that's weird. They announced Diablo 4 at BlizzCon, finally. Probably as a panic from last year. The whole Diablo Immortal debacle. Apparently, it's not even close to ready. It's not even soon. We don't know when it's coming out. Which is weird.
Well,
Because
even the WoW expansion they announced, usually that's only a few months before the expansion. It's not
don't-
guaranteed to release before December next year.
I don't fully understand Blizzard's development cycles. Like, I get, like, they're kind of in their own area. Because, like, they said Diablo 4 is not even close. But they had a whole, like, playable section of it, which looked pretty polished. This is the same thing that happened with Overwatch the first time around. They said it was, like, 2 years out, but they had a beta that was, like, a full game. Like, watching people play the beta of Overwatch a year before it came out, you were like, well, why not just release that and sell it?
I had access to.
I
some
would
of
buy
beta.
that now. You know what I mean?
It's like, well, this sure looks like a normal game to me.
Yeah, it
I
looks
don't know
good.
what's
Can I play
beta
this?
about it, other than the fact that I get a little thing says I can't talk about it, and it says beta.
Yeah. But otherwise, like, looking at people, watching people play it on, like, Twitch or whatever, I'm sitting there going, I would pay you money for this now. Can I play it?
Yeah.
Please? But no. So I don't understand them at all in any of their development cycles anymore.
It's hard for me to understand why there are Blizzard fanboys out there.
I'm-
I understand being a fanboy of the old company, but
Yeah.
that company doesn't exist.
And I still like their IPs. But the thing is, the weird part about Blizzard is that this Overwatch 2 thing is so confusing, but they know how to do an expansion. They've been doing it for Warcraft for 15 years. They did it with StarCraft. It was like a 3-part game. People were like, well, what the heck? But, like, it was a legitimate 3-part game. Like, what happened? What are you doing? You know how to do that. You have templates for how this works.
Well, it's
Just
not
do it.
it's not like it's an old concept.
Yeah.
And
This is the
it's not
problem.
an old concept to them.
Was
the
that-
concept's been around for years.
Overwatch is their live service game, which constant updates and whatever. But they also want the money from a sequel. This is the problem that's happening with a lot of companies. Where they're like, we want a live service game, people keep spending on it, but
we also want everyone to
want
spend a chunk of money every once in a while.
every
too.
year or whatever. If you're Call of Duty,
It's
you know what
it's
I mean?
like how they're trying. It's their other way to rip off people that aren't buying in-game content.
it's like they want the surge for a game release, but they also want people to recurrently.
yeah, that's
spend.
double dipping.
Well, the
And
problem
we're
is
seeing it. We see it.
I see it. The problem is I don't understand why it works, because if you are constantly putting money into this game that you know is going to be replaced in a couple of years, why are you putting money into this game that you know is going to be replaced in a couple of years?
Overwatch 2 literally makes
Yeah.
0 sense.
Like if you take, for example,
0.
a game like Path of Exile, which is a pretty big example, like a shining example of
They announced that too, didn't they?
they did
By accident.
by accident. Well, they had their own convention, so. But anyway, for up to this point, not including the new stuff, they've had a game that people love that's been going on for years. But you know, when you play that game, it is free to play. It's a whole other thing. But when you put money into that game, or like League of Legends, you put money in that game, it's gonna stick because it's gonna be there. You're not gonna release a whole other game and invalidate everything you've done here.
So that's something
But-
I
or
don't
are
understand about Path of Exile 2. Why is it not just an expansion? Because why would you really... Because that's free to
Well,
play.
that's a good question too, because it's another. I think it's still free to play.
Yeah. Why
But
isn't
it's a
it just
whole
an expansion?
So, well, the reason that they're doing it, from what I understand, is it's a 20-year later story. So it's a jump
That
forward
I
20
understand.
years and a whole other
That's
thing.
fine. Overwatch 2 is none of that.
Right.
None of that.
No.
It's just we need an excuse.
Now they've
to sell
added
you
more
something.
story content, missions or something.
Yes, but that's all going to be in the other game.
But they're going to merge it eventually, which is weird.
So don't.
Even if they were going to do that, why did they tell us they were going to do that?
I'm not sure if he was supposed to say so. But
was it Jeff Kaplan? Because he just says whatever he wants.
Yeah, I think it was Jeff Kaplan.
Because Jeff Kaplan he's a weird dude that just says whatever he wants, which is in some ways good, some ways bad. But anyway, it's a weird. It doesn't make sense.
My hand is shaking.
Because we're both big Blizzard fans for a long time, right? Because you love.
I think you're probably a bigger Blizzard fan than I am.
I liked it before World of Warcraft.
Yeah, see,
and Warcraft
I
3,
played Warcraft 3, but I didn't. Only did the multiplayer stuff. Really, I never.
Well, that's
played
the fun part of
game.
Warcraft 3 is you can just play the game just for the custom games.
But
you didn't even need to touch the main campaign, which was fantastic.
I really like World of Warcraft. I still do, but it's not what it used to be. Of course, Classic is. It's exactly what it used to be, which is really refreshing. I know you're sort of over it.
I had a lot of fun.
I'm totally into it.
I'm level 40, and I think I'm done.
Well, the grind starts to get tough, and if you're not part of a guild that's willing to do runs and stuff, you don't have an LFG thing to do anything with. You have the LF looking for a group channel that you can spam, but you can't. Even the meeting stones, you can't even summon.
I know.
Them yet.
Yeah, a big thing for me is back in the day that was all I played and all I could really afford to play in college. And now I kind of I've played a lot of it. It's really fun. I kind of want to play something else for a bit. I have more of a varying thing. And there's a bunch of games that come out.
I guess World of Warcraft fills that niche that World of Warships was filling for me, where it's something I can just jump in, play for a bit, and get out. If I get into another game that has a long narrative or something like that, I don't have a lot of time to do that usually. Mm-hmm. And I would rather just jump into something where I don't have to be committed to doing something, unless I'm doing a dungeon or something. But I don't have to be committed to staying on it for
I normally have a few games installed. Like I'll have one main game installed that's kind of like my narrative game, and the one game installed that is like I can play this in a window while I'm watching something or doing something else. So I usually have, and for a while Warcraft Classic was that game, and before that retail Warcraft was that game. And now I've just kind of moved on to other things. They really
and that's fair. I understand. I get that.
Play again, so. Plus my leveling buddy stopped playing for a while as well.
So here's the thing: if I was able to play every day, I would get tired. In fact, when my truck was broken down there last week, that whole Sunday that I was there, the one Sunday that I had the room, I didn't even log into WoW
because you were sick of it for a bit.
And I bought a laptop to do that while I'm on the road, and I didn't want to play anymore because I've been doing it all day. Yep. So, I mean, I had made some progress, but there's a certain amount of them that's like, all right. That's enough.
Yeah, I can't keep the same pace I had when I was in college with that game anymore. But I still enjoy it. So, but that's me. So I'm on break.
What are you playing right now?
Yeah, let's really quick go through what we're playing since we've probably already talked for a long time. Let's see. Like I said, I played the Outer Worlds. I got it off the Game Pass.
How is that? Is it good?
It is good. I've seen a lot of people that I think like it more than me in reviews were saying it replaces kind of like Fallout. It is very Fallout-esque. It's well done.
Somebody said, I don't know if this is true because I really haven't followed this game, but it has that thing where you can, just like on Fallout, where you can target certain parts of the body. Is that true?
It does, except you need to level up your proficiency with guns.
Okay.
So when you start out, you get this ability that in Fallout is called VATS.
Right, that's it.
And in this game, I forget exactly what it's called, but it
starts out as a. By the way, that's the only mechanic that actually intrigues me about any Fallout game is to be able to actually do that.
To me, a lot of people, like the really old school Fallout fans, did not like Fallout 4 because it was more of a modern adventure than it was an old school RPG style. For me, Fallout 4 is my first Fallout game. That system was what made that game fun to me.
Well, it's literally the only mechanic that actually interests me. I never played the game, but that was interesting.
But because I was basically full luck build, which is hilarious. Like, it was a hilarious way to play a game with the fun little VATS targeting. This one starts out with a slow time the Outer Worlds starts out with like a slow time effect that you can do, so you can slow down, aim up your shot, and fire. It starts out pretty bad, but the more you level up your gun proficiency, the more stuff you unlock. So you can unlock targeting individual body parts. So you can like target, slow down time, target their leg and whatever, make them fall over.
There was
that kind of thing.
And the reason that's intriguing, I don't even know if I have the game out here. No, I don't. I don't have my PS. Oh yes, I do. Shoot.
Too much stuff.
I'm going to look for this game.
Yeah. So basically, you get like companions. It's very similar to Fallout in the fact that it has like kind of a sense of humor to it. The storyline is based on somewhat based on your like different companions you can have, and it's good. It's all around really good. There's actually, for a Fallout style game, there's very few bugs. It looks good, very colorful. And it runs well. I've only had a few minor issues. To me, though, it lacks kind of a... It's hard to put into words. To me, it lacks like heart. Like it's something that I'm having trouble really getting into. I'm enjoying my time with it, but it's not one of those games that's pulling me into the world. And I think I've got about... I'm still under 10 hours, so I'm not like... It's not a super long game either from what I've heard, but... It's part of the problem is, so it's one of those games where you can spec out your character with different levels. You can actually instead of just adding points, you can take away points. So at the beginning, when you set it, you have like different things like intelligence, charm, and different things, and you can say I want really high charm, but I'm actually going to go below average on intelligence, which actually unlocks like stupid dialogue options. You can say stupid things, but anyway, so like it's kind of interesting like that. And there's different skills you can level up, and there's different skill checks. So you can say, if something comes up that's a technical problem, you can say, well, I have engineering expertise, so I can solve this just with a skill check, dialogue option, as opposed to someone else that might have to do other things, which is really cool, and I really like that. The problem is a lot of those skill checks...
You could do a lot of that in Coder.
Similar thing. Really like. So this is the guys that made Coder 2, just for reference. Right. So in the similar, and I really like that about those games. The problem is in this game, it doesn't make much difference. Like if you can't hit the skill check, there's usually a very simple way around it somewhere else, as opposed to like actually making a big difference. So that's one thing that's not great. It doesn't. I'm liking it, but it's not on the same level that I was hoping it'd be on. It's a little disappointing to me, to be honest. And hopefully that's not like blasphemy to the community, because Bethesda's letting us down, and Obsidian was kind of like the, we're the good guys,
the last bastion,
and it's not bad, and they've done a great job. It's just, it needs more work. It looks and plays like a big budget game, but it has the innards of a lower budget game, because it was independently, published by Private Division, I think, but Obsidian was a smaller company. This was like being bought by Microsoft, right? So I don't know. I'm hopeful that IP gets better now that they've got like big money backing, but we'll see what happens, right?
Big money isn't necessarily a good thing.
No, but usually there's a grace period where they've been bought by a big company and they are still allowed to do their own thing, but they have big funding that produces great games.
If they already have something on the table and they're far along enough in development.
Right before the company tells them they have to do a certain thing because it makes more money, and then it kind of goes down the tubes.
Just wait. They'll be told they have to move on to the stupid engine that everyone has a problem with. What's that called again? The one that
you're thinking Frostbite. This is Microsoft, not EA, though, right?
Good point.
So
who cares? All right. This is what I was looking for. Front Mission 4. It's like a mix between Final Fantasy Tactics and MechWarrior, and that VATS system is like part of it, where you can target certain parts of it. You could do that in MechWarrior too.
Yeah.
This is the first time I really had. I mean, I played MechWarrior or something. I don't remember which one I played, but this was sort of like a fully realized version of being able to do that. This is a really good game.
Good game. PlayStation 2. So anyway, I've been playing that. I blabbed on. I said it was gonna be quick, but there's a lot of things. I'll tell you more when I finish it. But right now, it's kind of like it's good, but it's not where I hoped it would
I was
be.
sort of interested in it. I saw Pro Jared making his character on there, and then I got bored, so I stopped watching it.
The character creation is actually pretty interesting, but yeah.
Well, no, that's okay. But if I'm not doing the character creation,
you don't care.
I don't care for watching somebody else doing it.
Yeah, so I'm playing that. I played. I started up. Pokemon came out. So I was playing.
I
Pokemon
canceled my
Shield.
pre-order on that, but not because of politics and bullcrap.
Well, there's been a lot of criticism leveled at this game, and I just want to come out and say this game's awesome.
Yeah.
Apparently, a lot of the multiplayer features, which I don't normally use anyways, but a lot of those I've taken a big step back. So that's not great. But for me, who just was interested in the single player adventure of Pokemon, playing it again, it's awesome. So I'm just gonna throw it.
Yeah, Pokemon Let's Go was good for a nostalgia bump.
I hated the capture mechanic.
But the capture mechanic is really annoying.
So this one is good. It's got it's old school. You have to hit them, reduce their, and then catch them with the Pokeball. But it does have some of them show up on the out.
As opposed to what?
As opposed to the Go, where you had to like just throw the balls at them.
Oh, okay. I don't count that as Pokemon.
This is the traditional.
Yeah. Okay.
You hit them down to red, and then you throw the Pokeball at them.
Red or freeze them or something.
Yeah. So it's that, but it's some of them do like similar to Go. Let's Go. They pop up on the outer world, so it's not just running through grass and then one that surprises you, although that can still happen. But they'll pop up on the outer world and they'll kind of chase you or run away from you depending on what their nature is and that kind of. So there's a whole other thing.
I like that.
Yeah,
because on Let's Go, they're like, I don't know what's out there. I don't know what's going on. I'm just going to run this way and then I'm going to run that way.
So you can avoid.
That's kind of cool. So they're sort of interactive a little bit.
Pick the one you want to try to catch. And there's this new the new thing is called Dynamaxing, which is a bit weird, where they become giants.
Can you get a giant Snorlax?
You can pretty much make anything giant, I think.
And even
I don't know. I'm not that
Snorlax.
far along. What happened to me was they have this new thing called the Wild Area, and it's kind of like in between the villages. But you can kind of run around. You can set up there's a huge area, and you can kind of like set up your camp to heal up and stuff like that. But you run around, and you can actually catch Pokemon and do stuff in this big area. But there's this big, these called dens, they're called. And what happens is if you go up to one, sometimes actual Dynamax Pokemon will pop out.
Oh.
And so it's this giant Pokemon you have to fight, but it's kind of like raid style. So you have to like get other people. You can do either other people or NPCs to help you out.
Oh, really?
And it's like 4 of you against one big. And you can Dynamax your own guys to make them fight big to big. But you have to try to take out this Dynamax Pokemon together, and then you can catch it and turn it into a normal one.
That makes me think of Power Rangers back in the days. The bad girl lady would say, grow! And then the guy would become a really big baddie, and then you'd make you get the Megazord.
It's kind of like that. But so you kind of have to team up to try to take it out, and then like the higher level ones have more stuff. Like they can have different shields or use different abilities, and you have to try to team up to try to take it out. So it's like a raid style. So you can actually go on with your friends and try to take out these Dynamax Pokemon for bonuses and stuff. So they added in like raiding, which is kind of cool.
That is cool, yeah.
Yeah, it's great. The new designs, I really like them for the most part. There's some really cool new designs. Having a blast. I spent too much time.
Better than what's the one that I've last major entry, Black and White or something.
Black and
I
White.
think.
That was a while ago, but
well, I know it was a while ago. Just
that one,
last one I played.
hated the start of Black and White 1. There's just not a lot of cool designs.
The story was terrible.
I didn't even get very far in that one, to be honest. That's the one.
I
that's
finished
the one,
it, but
see, that's the one generation I haven't finished because I did not like it. But that's me. Yeah, this one's great so far. I did spend too much time in the wild area, so I'm a bit over leveled. I haven't even got a badge yet, but I'm at like mid-20s.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Whoops. I had fun exploring and running around. So
when you can beat Brock at like level 12 in the original game or something, that's 20s is probably a little high. Yeah.
I'm assuming I'm a little over leveled, but I haven't finished it yet. So yeah, having lots of fun. It is reminding me just how much I don't like the Joy-Cons because my thumb keeps cramping up. But I should probably just play it on my TV instead. But I don't know, something about handheld Pokemon.
Well, you could set it on the table, and then even just having it separate, like having the Joy-Cons off of there, I find that's a lot more comfortable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you're saying.
So great, it's great, and that's about it. I've blabbed on enough, I'm sure. But I'm trying to think if I had played anything. Oh, they just released a new update for This War of Mine. The Final Cut. I don't know if you've ever played that game. That's a very depressing game about trying to survive a war-torn area as civilians. It's really well done though. So I'm been playing that a little bit, and it's cool. They also released a new update for Human Fall Flat, which is a puzzle game you can play co-op with like really terrible physics. It's hilarious. Okay. I've been playing some of that with my friend, just laughing. Actually, I will comment that while I was initially against the new Steam interface, I've kind of gotten used to it more I was in the beta as well. But one thing it does well, which originally I hated, was that it pops up and has like a news section when you first start up. But that news section does tell you when games that you own have had updates. So I'm like, oh, cool, that game that we played has an update. Let's try playing it again, and that is kind of actually a feature I've come to appreciate that I initially did not like.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, what have you been playing? Sorry to ramble on.
Well, I'll start with Steam. Just might as well. Something I do like about the new interface is you can create an automatic advanced filter. So you can set up different sections specifically for racing and RPG, stuff like that. You can't make custom ones, though. I would like custom ones.
You know what has custom ones? GOG Galaxy 2.0.
I actually uninstalled GOG. So
Did you get the new one?
no, I didn't.
The new one is awesome.
I've only got one game on there, and I can't even play it on my computer, so I don't bother.
The new the GOG 2.0 lets you make a custom category, and you can put whatever game you want in it, and it pops up.
Well, you could do that before, though, on Steam, too.
Yeah.
The problem is, and I still don't know if this is a thing, it's not persistent between computers, which, like, well, why spend 3 hours sorting all my stuff when it doesn't move from computer to computer? We have accounts.
Yeah.
Make it work.
So the nice thing, I don't know if it's persistent from computer to computer because I only have one, but the nice thing with the GOG was you can make a category and then it'll pop up on your sidebar as like an entry. You can just click it and then it pulls up everything. And you can do it between Steam, GOG, and Origin and whatever else they support. I
don't have Origin on my computer anymore either.
But if you did, you could like link your Origin in, and then you could have so you can see all your games, which is really nice. And you can say, okay, I want to play that one, and then it will install based on the other. So that I think I've mentioned before, but I really do like the Galaxy 2.0 beta.
Oh, I know you do. Yeah, absolutely.
That's good. Anyway, sorry. Continue with what you were doing.
What have I played? Played some Pinball Arcade the other day, actually.
Pinball's back.
That was kind of fun. Yeah. There's a new expansion for American Truck Simulator. They've released a new state, so we can drive around in Utah now.
Ooh.
So did a little bit of that, but it's basically just more of the same game, just more stuff to do, like more area to cover.
It was free for a while there. I debated trying it out.
I have a free copy of it if you want it.
Well, no, I was just going to try it for the free weekend to see if I liked it.
Oh, I actually have a free copy somewhere.
I wouldn't want to waste it, though, if I didn't like it. You know what I mean? If you gave it to me and I tried it and I didn't like it.
I understand that. What else? There was something else.
It's not even a language.
That's not a language, Jeff. This is a podcast. Don't do that, Jeff. I have been playing Duel Links, and I do want to talk about it for a minute. I really like the Dark Side of Dimension stuff. I really like it. It's a lot of fun. The event is now over. At least
the Dark Side of Dimension event?
This side, like that number 2 event, whatever, the second part of it is over now. They keep teasing that Yugi's going to come. And I want him to come really
See,
bad.
they're not even releasing Yugi in a game called Yu-Gi-Oh!
It's going to happen.
Duel Links.
It's going to happen. I'm just not sure if it's going to be a Tem or if it's going to be Yugi himself.
Well, it should be
Yugi would make more sense.
If you've seen the Dark Side of Dimension movie, which I know you have.
Tem actually doesn't have really a big part in that movie. There's a really good duel between fake him. Well, spoilers. Because at the beginning you don't know that. Although I felt it part of the way through of it. But you don't know when you're watching that movie. By the way, that's a good movie. I mean, it's a good anime movie. It's not a good movie. Yeah. It's a good anime movie. And if you're a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh, it's totally good. Anything else? I haven't been playing anything else on my phone. Other than World of Warcraft, I just started a Paladin because apparently there are no tanks on my server, so now I have to level 1.
Yep. So now, you're on the hook.
Well, why play a rogue if I can never do anything I want to do anyway? So I like playing my rogue, but if I ever want to do instances, which is something I like to do, especially Scarlet Monster, you can't get groups for it because you can get DPSs for miles and you can even get healers, but you can't get a tank.
Huh.
You just can't.
Apparently the tanks are rare on that server, or at least now they are. I didn't have too much trouble when I was playing before, but different server, so
yeah,
could be a difference.
Other than that, World of Warcraft's pretty much taken up most of the time. So,
cool.
As I've written on my website, I bought a laptop to do that. So,
yep, been playing.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Oh, and quickly.
Oh,
I did buy a mouse to go with that when I was on the road. Wireless mouse is a G.
Wireless.
What do they call it? This is the G203. I think it's called the G303 or something for the wireless version of the same mouse. I hate the G203, but the 303 is pretty good.
So the same thing, but in wireless mode is better, or
For some, I don't know. This hump just doesn't bother me when I'm using it, but it bothers me
on a desk
on the desktop. So I'm not sure what the deal is with that, to be honest. But I will say, actually, if I may, really quick, the Logitech software, does allow you to customize the DPI points on here. You always have access to 4 levels of DPI, and I usually always have it set to the max. But anyway, people like to switch between them for some reason. I just, as I said, I keep it to the maximum anyway. Well, actually, I don't have mine on the maximum. I have it on half of maximum because 6,400 DPI is ridiculous. I don't know why you need that.
Well, I think a lot of people, depending on what kind of game they're playing, like if you're playing a Twitch shooter, you want max. If you're playing,
yeah, but I mean, literally 6,400 DPI is you shift it like a millimeter and you've turned yourself around.
Yeah,
that's way too fast for me.
You gotta get precise.
Well, I guess I'm a guy like if I'm playing Mass Effect.
Yeah,
I want at least 2 inches of travel to turn. Like I don't want to turn behind me in a millimeter. Anyway, you can actually set custom DPI points, 4 of them, and it's not preset. Like it's like every 100 there's a DPS setting up to 6,400 DPI.
That's pretty cool.
That's really cool, actually, because this mouse, this 203 and the 303, the 203 is super cheap.
Yeah,
and it has the same ability as their expensive mice. And
is it the 403? Sorry, it might be the 403. That's the wireless one.
What's 403?
The G403.
What's that?
It's the wireless mouse version.
No, it's not.
Are you sure?
This is 303, pretty sure.
Oh, I'm thinking the 403 in my head, but yeah.
Oh, you got me looking it up now.
Now we got to check because you don't want to give misinformation. I'm looking at my phone. 203 wired. $40 on Amazon Canadian right now.
Yep, it's a really good price.
G403 Prodigy is a wired one as well, so maybe that's the one I was.
Oh, G305.
305.
305. Sorry,
that's a little bit more pricey.
That's the one.
$70 Canadian. Right
it is, but I got mine. It's on sale regularly for $20 off.
Okay.
I got mine for $20 off, and I got the white one, not the black one, because it was cheaper than the black one, which is not normal.
Yeah, no. Usually that's more expensive.
So that's a really good. It's a really good wireless mouse, and to be able to customize your DPI like that is pretty great.
AA powered.
It is single AA, 250 hours. The battery that comes with it is a good battery, but it's the one that I had was pretty much discharged.
Okay.
It does have a little light on it to tell you what DPI mode you're in, and then it flashes red at you when your battery's getting low. Oops, I turned the DPI down on this one. There we go. That's better.
As if to demonstrate.
As if to demonstrate to no one because they can't see any of this. Right. So, yeah, what do you think? Do you think that's a podcast?
I think that's it. We did a good job.
I think that's a podcast. We did a good job.
We did.
That's right.
Everyone?
Yeah.
Please leave your comments at redbluegreen.ca.
Redbluegreen.ca.
Be kind because we have feelings.
Yep.
I mean, I shouldn't have admitted that because now all the mean people are going to come out. But,
if you want to get access to our podcast, obviously you already have one, but you can get it from all kinds of different places, like on Spotify. And is that the right thing? Nope, that's the right one.
You gotta get the theme playing.
And you can get it there. You can go to our website. You can stream it from our website, which is mobile friendly, by the way.
Ooh, so mobile friendly now.
You can just go to the website, and it doesn't look weird on your phone or anything. You can pretty much any podcatcher has access to it, and you can subscribe on iTunes if you really wanted to. So it's all there, and we don't have to say the music anymore because I have the license for it. But Kevin MacLeod made the music.
Good guy.
From thecomptech.com. So pretty good. Thanks for joining me, Dan. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problems.
And
we rambled well.
We did. We rambled a long time on what was. I don't even remember now. We rambled a long time on it, but I don't remember what it was.
Sorry for the length.
Yeah, that's okay. We're good. All right. We'll see you all next time.